Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I plan is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we about to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716 make them pay with some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo don't make a kill. When we talk about the Bills dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo don't make a kill.
And yet again, we are back with another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast. What's going on, y'all? This is the home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host, Aramis.
Melly Mac.
This is Key.
And we back. Listen, it's a Monday episode, but I promise you it's gonna feel like the weekend, baby, because it's about to be smooth and wild tonight, boy. We ready. We ready. So check it out. This is a unique episode.
You had coffee.
Huh?
You had coffee.
Not at all. You know what I did?
You high on life.
I got 12 hours of sleep between Saturday and Sunday. My body demanded it. And thusly, it happened. So this is what it looks like. Welcome, y'all. We got Mac back in the house.
Yeah.
All right. Feels like a family now. We back. All right. So
producer, how you doing, man?
No good.
All right.
He
now we in full
he got
circle.
some coffee. Right. He
full
got some
circled
coffee.
it up.
Hopefully, get these paper towels out of here. Who let paper towels on today?
Nah, I had them over. I got mine over here hidden. I ain't do nothing. I ain't do nothing to you, man.
In the cut.
In the cut. I'm blocking it.
All right. So wide receivers today.
Yes, sir.
Wide receivers today. I thought I noticed up under a hoodie that Mac wore today an older Bills jersey.
Yes, sir.
That Andre Reed.
That Lee Evans, baby.
He came ready to represent. What do we want to do? Do we want to just dive right into that? Because I know it's going to be a lot. Like, you want to get the stuff we heard later? How y'all want to do it?
You got stuff, Mel?
I got a little bit of stuff, but I'm excited for the wide receivers. But
so we definitely do some stuff now because he's too excited. Pipe down over there. Nah, I thought it was funny. I just looked, and I didn't even look it up. It fell right in my lap. Did you know Austin Proehl's still in the league?
No way.
Yes, he had a second stint with the Bills at one point.
What?
Yeah, he was on our practice squad.
Practice squad, yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know when. Well, 2021 to be exact, but I don't know why. Let's put it like that. Let's just air that out. That's your wide receiver tidbit number one.
Okay. So,
anybody that's wondering how we're going to keep Leonard Floyd, forget about it. It's not going to happen. Just let it go.
How much is he worth?
More than we got, because he said he's going to chase the money.
I saw that today, man. They thinking he's going to sign, 16 mil?
2 years, 16. So it'd be like
the year he had, he could probably get it.
Well, it's actually a million more than he made with us last year. But
is it?
Yeah, because he made 7 with us last year. But we ain't got it. I'm not trying to clear space for Leonard Floyd. I'm not. Yeah. I mean, you got to clear space for a whole bunch of other stuff, and that's
would you rather do Daquan or Leonard, or let them both go?
Let me get Quan. Let me get Quan.
I would rather let them both go.
Let them both walk?
Yeah. I like Sweat, man. I like the kid out of Texas, man.
That's
like,
your first round. You taking?
No, I wouldn't take him in the first round.
That's where he's
going.
First round.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's tough.
You can do it if you want to. You're gonna let me my cornerbacks though. I'm gonna get my cornerbacks.
I mean, who needs a defensive tackle?
Who's after us? Because that's who usually who takes them in almost everything I've looked at.
Who's after us?
Yeah, who drafts after us? Who's got the pick after us?
Who's at 29?
Because that's usually where he goes.
Yeah, hold on.
Is it Baltimore?
I don't know how it goes. I honestly don't know how it ranks out at that point.
Okay, so the draft order is the Bills will pick 28th. Behind us is Detroit.
Oh, the Lions.
Detroit.
They don't need a defensive tackle.
Hey. He ain't.
I'll tell you right.
Not. You got to trade up any way it goes. And these things they're volatile, man. Let them have a good combine. Yeah, let them have a
skyrocket. He's gonna skyrocket.
It's gonna slide up because there's not a lot of one techs in this draft.
Washington needs defensive tackle play.
There you're going. He might not make it to 28 anyway then.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I was looking long and hard for be quiet. I was looking long and hard for a one-tech defensive tackle.
That's a pause moment right there.
The best part
How
about
is this show turned into this? You see what you did, June? You see what you've done to this show?
No, because I always would have said it, but I wouldn't have thought about it when I said it.
Listen. All I gotta say is that maybe you guys should not say sus moments. Then maybe I won't say anything.
Oh, so it's our fault now. Is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
yeah.
Just put your earmuffs on.
Of course.
No, I'm sorry, I can't do that.
Yo, but you know what's funny though?
Huh.
It's not just our producer. Like it's national. Like did y'all see the Maurice Jones-Drew take?
No.
So he was on a live that was talking about something, right?
Yeah.
And this guy was like, what did he say? He said something about the D, and he was about to speak, and he looked at him. He was like, the defense. He said, okay. Then he got back. So like everybody doing it.
Yo,
everybody doing
that's
it.
That's like Mason Cameron with the pause stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, I'm just too old. We know what it means.
Every time Shady say it on the show, I'm just like, come on, dude. Like
Right.
it was right in the middle of something serious, and you just pause.
I'm just too old. I just don't. I don't have a pause filter anymore. I'm fine with that.
Okay. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, we know.
Furthermore, to the Leonard Floyd take, yeah, he said, I'd rather be in Buffalo, but business is business, and it's a business.
Right.
Just say what it is. You 31 years old, you want to get paid your loud little hurrah. You're done soon.
Yeah, we ain't got the paper, man. Like if we had a big wallet, then it's possible. But I think our wallet's not big enough.
Still wouldn't do it.
You still wouldn't do it. I like his production. If he can keep that up, I wouldn't mind bringing him back again.
Well, my thinking is this: we got Vaughn, and I would take another guy like Vaughn to bring up with Vaughn, like we talked about in the last show. Let him be a successor.
Somebody who can bend and like
be a
Vaughn
bendy guy,
like
be a
that.
successor,
He would
cheaper, younger.
Have to be on a rookie contract though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the guy I mocked out of Michigan, that Jalen Harrell. I mean, 4th, 5th round pick, put him behind Vaughn because Vaughn's going to get you. You know, he's not going to be a double-digit sack. I'm pretty sure.
But how many late round picks do we know of that really come out and shine like that? All of the great pass rushers that I can think of have been 1st round picks.
Yeah, I mean, but how many guys can learn with Von Miller? How many guys can learn with next to Ed Oliver's, next to Daquan's? I mean, you're set up for greatness in that.
And you know who our defensive coordinator is, Mr. Babbage. You know he.
You want to be smile.
Now we truly believe Babbage can teach everything.
Hey, listen.
As long as we got Babbage, everybody can learn.
All the positions he was at, he did pretty good, man.
They succeeded.
He did pretty
More
good.
out of less. So, I mean, honestly, and that's the thing. You know, when you think about this draft is heavy in wide receivers. Really heavy in wide receivers. Ridiculously heavy. This is not the year. What year was that? With Limas Swede and Deshaun Jackson. We didn't have a wide receiver go out in the first. Yeah. What was it? Washington took Limas Swede. Deshaun Jackson went to Philly, and then that was we took whoever. Dave. Who was it that we took?
Swede.
Yeah, who remember him?
Wow, I completely forgot he existed until today.
How can you forget that name? Limas Swede.
That's the same way I forgot Mansfield Rado.
You can't forget Mansfield Rado. You can't.
Say it.
But no, I mean, in this year, I mean, I'm telling you right now, I didn't even look at Marvin Harrison Jr. because people, your guy, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to insult him, but he had a horrible premise on YouTube about how we can trade up and get Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah. He said, it might take this year's first, next year's first, maybe in 2026 and some players and some other.
Wait, why he got to be my boy? Who are we talking about?
You like to use him as a model for what we're going to do next.
I do?
Bills Consolidated. The 8-minute clips that you like talking about? The guy that just sits there and talks like.
Oh, that dude?
Yeah.
Oh no! Well, why is that my boy?
No, I don't mean you like him. I'm just saying,
No.
like you reference him more than anybody that I ever have seen reference him before. But
Okay,
that's because you have a reason. You have a good reason.
No, I do not have a good reason.
Flag
I
on the
do
play.
not. Right? Yeah,
Flag
please.
on the play.
Flag
No,
on the
oh yeah,
play.
we went to the red flag review. Like the commercial.
right. Because the only reason I mention that dude is to wonder how in the world he got so many daggone
And that's
views.
why I said you have a
So-
good reason to mention him.
Okay,
Because-
all right.
See?
All right.
Gotcha.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Just like with pause and just like hey man, hey.
I think
Just saying.
I think I saw that take though. They were comparing us to the Falcons when they picked up Julio. Now, mind you, at the time when they picked up Julio, they had an all-pro, Pro Bowl receiver in Roddy White. The man had like over 100 catches, and he had like 10 touchdowns, 1,300 yards, and they still traded up to draft wide receiver. They were saying like, man, these dudes was desperate. They wanted to keep winning that nice offense. You had Matt Ryan, like they was building the nice offensive,
Yeah,
How
and
that
that was a little bit more of a head scratcher. Hold on, what year was Julio drafted?
11.
And they traded.
2011?
And they
traded. It was 2 firsts, like a 4th, and something else. Yeah,
and mind you, they was in around the same position we was at. It was like 26 or 27.
Yeah,
and they
He
traded
go to,
all the way up.
6. We got to get in top 5 to get Marvin Harrison, and I'm not interested. I'm just not interested.
I think there's too many talent for you to. I don't
This
think you
year,
have-
yes.
I don't think you got to go way up to get one of those guys. However, I think there's only maybe 11 that are like first round worthy to me.
11 first round wide receivers.
Yeah,
Man, if you get 11 first round, I don't have that many.
you ain't got that many.
So
I don't have
Roddy White was 2 years younger than Steph Diggs was when Julio Jones was drafted. And that's what triggered my thought when I that's why I just wanted to double check it.
Older wide receiver, but he still put up those. He had great
That's
numbers.
what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
at 28, a receiver is still in the heart of his prime. You know what I'm saying? Like once he gets to like 29, 30, then okay, maybe. And in our situation, I think it's even more justified than when the Falcons did it.
Because Diggs is what?
He's 30.
He's 30.
Right.
But
I think that would be even more justified.
and I think to me,
Nah.
not a knock on Roddy White. He was a beast back in his day, but I think Diggs is better now than where he was.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the only reason I say 9, you know why? You already know.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I know.
Because you don't want Drewski and the likeness of to win.
No, I don't mind.
I just decided to pick someone who
Where's he been?
instantly became your mortal enemy.
Right? No, because I mean we got to field a team. We got a lot of we got to field a team, and this is eating out of the dish that's going to nurture the rest of our team. So we don't have the money. We don't have this. So how are you going to build the rest of a competent team if you trade all these assets that I plan on using to build our team? I mean that's my hesitation, and I mean for what it is, this draft is so deep. You don't need Marvin Harrison. You can go get Neighbors. Neighbors is just as good.
But he's
to
number
me.
2. He's number 2.
That's what I'm saying. Like
But Neighbors is going. He's going to be like maybe 11. So you're talking about
Okay.
moving up. You're talking about moving up to 3 or 4 to get Marvin Harrison versus 11.
So you think it's a possibility that we could stay put and we may be able to get my man Franklin or
Thomas,
Thomas? It's possible.
it's possible.
I like that.
You got to.
I like that, bro.
see. You got to look at. You have to look at the combine though. I mean, right now everything's a pipe dream, but they're
Right,
going to fall in love with these guys when they run their 40s, when they do the verticals. But if you watch tape, if you really delve into what they're saying about these guys, some of them are not first round worthy, regardless of what they put on tape at the combine.
Right. And that's what I don't want to happen. Like I'm watching tape. I'm looking at these guys, but one guy's word that I take is Law,
Keyshawn,
Agent 89, Steve Smith.
What do you
Keyshawn.
say?
He's never wrong about a wide receiver. He's never wrong. Like every year he picks his guys, he's like, hey, this guy gonna be a beast. This guy gonna be a beast. And every time it turns out, like you can pull the receipts, he's hit on every single last one.
He liked.
Dang.
Who did he like?
So who does he like this year?
I haven't seen anything about this year, but last year his
I
guys
saw it
were
this year.
Flowers, Tank Dell, of course the number 1 guys. But like he put me out there, so like when I draft, I'm like, who the age 89 say? All right,
he
let me
doesn't-
get
he
him.
didn't-
Let me get him.
But your boy don't like Franklin that much.
He don't like Franklin. Oh,
He
well,
likes, he likes the other guy more.
who? Thomas.
No. He likes his number 2. He likes Franklin number 2.
Oh, the guy who played on Oregon with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we might can get him in
Tez
like the
Johnson.
third.
Tez
Get him in
Johnson.
the third or
He's a
fourth.
junior, so he won't be out till next year.
But I'll be interested to see who he says is like his top guys. this year.
We're in a peculiar spot though. I can tell you because like you mentioned, you surmised, and it was a good point. We thought about it. We just never talked about it. But how do we know that what they're gonna run offensively? I mean, I think I can narrow that down now because you look at Kelly Skipper. He was an air raid backup. Our guy now, what is his name? Our wide receivers coach, Adam Henry. He came from your boy. He worked with CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
And he was an LSU wide receiver coach when they had Jarvis Landry and OBJ.
Dude, LSU is wide receiver university, bro. Like,
So yeah, I mean, you figure their air raid. That's just tipping their hands. We're transitioning, but this is the year to get one air raid wide receiver. So I mean, it's a peculiar spot.
Why you looking like that?
I got the link you sent, by the way, to do a mock draft. So I'm probably gonna.
Oh, it's gonna drive you nuts.
Fire that one up tomorrow.
I can't wait. It's gonna drive you nuts.
I'll have it ready for Friday.
Good. I can't wait to see this. He gonna have a wide receiver. He gonna force one in the first round and the second round.
Force like 5.
You're gonna definitely force. It's gonna be like D-,
and they all gonna be trade ups.
I know.
Yep.
But no, yeah, I think where we are, where we're headed. There's so many guys in this draft right now we could look at. There's some guys I don't know as much about free agency as you guys do. I tried my hand in that a little bit, but you can help me out with the already established NFL players that may fit. But yeah, so the last thing I had, me and A talked about. We didn't pose it as a question as much as a thought I had, but I want to ask you because I want to know what you guys think about this. I was listening to Locked On Bills earlier today, and Joe Marino said, his show was based on people that hit their ceiling, people that were on a decline, and people that were good, but they still got work to do. Now, I was okay when he said, the people he said were hitting ceilings, but then he said Josh Allen.
He hit a ceiling?
Yeah, he said Josh Allen he said we know who he is now. And remember I said I don't believe that. I argue that, I contend that to the letter. I mean, Josh Allen, yeah, it's fun, it's nice to watch, but you're telling me he can't get a 5,000-yard season? You're telling me he can't throw for over 40 touchdowns?
Right.
Throw for over 40 touchdowns? You're telling me he can't be Offensive Player of the Year? You're telling me he can't be a Super Bowl MVP? He can't get to the Super Bowl? Is that what you're telling me?
Right.
Because he hasn't done any of that yet. So to hit a ceiling, we're here. This is us for the rest of Josh Allen's career. Regardless of who he's playing with and who he's playing for, this is it.
Who said this?
Joe Marino. So, I mean, you kind of agree with me there.
So the only thing that I'll say is, in a couple of years, you're gonna see Josh run less.
No doubt.
Right? So that's one of the things that makes him dynamic. Him and Lamar Jackson too. Like they're gonna have to lean on something else other than their legs. But with Josh, I'm not worried about leaning on his arm.
I'm not
worried about that at all.
You know what's funny?
What?
His best 2 seasons was 23 and 20. He ran the least out of his career.
Those 2 seasons he ran the least.
Those are 2 seasons he ran the least.
Yards wise or
touch attempts.
Oh, attempts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that further goes into your point. He can lean into his arm.
Yeah.
He can do the Vince Carter thing. He can do the Ray Allen thing where he used to be a high jumper. He used to be athletic, and now I just shoot the 3 and I rely on the old man ball.
Yeah.
Where Lamar Jackson, he's not going to have his longevity.
And the crazy part about that too is when you consider the height of his athletic ability now, and I'm just specifically talking about his arm strength.
Mm-hmm.
How do you look at what Joe Flacco's doing right now with his arm strength?
Do I have to?
Does it look like he's struggling to throw the ball anywhere?
Nah.
That man can still launch it all over the field,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he was
a statue when he was 25.
He was 6, 7, 8 years removed from being a starter with the Ravens, right? So my point is this: if you look at Josh's trajectory just from here right now, even if he does lose a step, he's at worst C.J. Stroud athleticism. At worst. What are we talking about? We're talking about at his very worst, at his most debilitating age, he will be E.J. Manuel athleticism.
Dude, I'll even go and say, let's say he just loses everything and just goes straight Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. I'll still take that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like his arm strength is like, I'll take that all day.
He can play for as long as he wants with that arm.
I'll take that all day.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I always preface it by saying I'm not a Josh Allen fanboy, but I know right is right, and that was wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, that was that. When he said that, I was like,
that's just clickbait.
Yeah.
That's just clickbait.
Well, I feel like I know what he was saying in terms of being a superstar, elite, but there's so much left on the bone.
I think, like, to me, what he's saying is he'll never be up to Pat Mahomes level, or he'll never be that guy who you can, he's going to win you the Super Bowl because we know what he can do. He's going to play a real good season. He's going to have good yards, but in the playoffs, he's not going to make it.
Okay, I'm not. I refuse to accept this. I'm sorry. I refuse to accept this.
Well, you're not alone. We're not accepting it.
No. I know. But what I'm saying is, I know what I'm about to say is it might trigger Boz. It might trigger some other people who have an issue with Josh's work ethic. If Josh never improves his work ethic, he will still be the second best quarterback in the entire NFL. Yeah. Like. That's what we're talking about right now. We're talking about the Allen Iverson effect. Allen Iverson is still top 10 in guards all time, right? I think we can confidently say that. So and that's with him. That's with him not practicing. Like, what are we talking about right now? We have the most.
Iverson came in the same year Kobe did, and he won the MVP.
Right.
He won the MVP, but you had Kobe in there too. So like Allen Iverson was a beast.
That's what I'm saying. So when you have the most athletic quarterback in the entire NFL and possibly the entire NFL history, because I've never seen a quarterback that can play in the pocket and play outside the pocket with as much athleticism and power and strength and speed as Josh Allen could. Cam Newton was never that guy. Michael Vick was never that guy. They never possessed the entire package that Josh Allen has. Nobody has. Not Donovan McNabb, not nobody. Right? So if I'm looking at all these athletically great quarterbacks that we've seen over the span of our years and even before, I have to say, even if he never practices another down, I would still start him ahead of 31 other quarterbacks in the NFL not named Patrick Mahomes, like all day long, right? So now let's get to the point that matters. Josh Allen's victories, and I guess I've said this before, has been in spite of whatever the current state of the team is, right? And I kind of equated this. I equated this to well, I guess I qualified it by looking at the Chiefs' record before Mahomes got there. They were 11-6 before Mahomes took over, right? They were already a good team. The Bills before Josh took over were 9-7, just barely scraping back into the playoffs, thanks to Andy Dalton and the Bengals, right? Otherwise, they don't make the playoffs, right? They barely scrape out of their own division at that point. So you fast forward to now, and you're looking at the state of the team. Have we seen the Chiefs execute at a high level without Patrick Mahomes in this current day and age? We can say yes, because and correct me if I'm wrong, the second time they made it to the playoffs, they had Chad Henne come in and play the last 4 or 5 downs or something like that in that game, and he might have even played like the last quarter or something, if I'm not mistaken, right? And led that team to victory. Mm-hmm. He had a key first down play on, I think it was on 4th down or something like that. It was like a little flat route or something like that, but he was able to execute all the plays that were being called. Why? Because he had an elite play caller, he had a great offensive coordinator, and he also had quite possibly the best defensive play caller in NFL history, in Steve Spagnuolo. So he had all of these things around him, not to mention Tyreek Hill on the team at that point and Travis Kelce on the team at that point. Mm-hmm. He had all these things to kind of insulate whoever went in at quarterback. What's the Bills' record without Josh Allen?
Terrible.
I don't think we want to know. I really
without
don't.
Josh Allen
Without Josh Allen.
Period?
Yeah.
He's only missed, one game, isn't he?
Right.
Yeah, so, they lost.
He's only like one game,
yeah,
like full game?
Yeah. It might have been 2 after the Texans game. Because he got hurt in the Texans game and he missed, the next game? And
he's only missed 1 game.
Wow.
93 or 94 games played.
Dang.
Right. And this is the man that we say has hit his ceiling. Joe Marino.
You crazy.
You've lost my respect, my man.
You wilding on that
I'm
one.
sorry. I can't. There's no iteration. There is no perspective on that statement whatsoever that qualifies it or validates it or gives it any kind of,
No, because like, he's taking it out of context. Like you looking at his win record, like instead of his performance.
Right.
Look at his performance, not how many games he won. Because those games, a lot of times, they're not because of we didn't lose the games because of him.
I think that's what he's looking at. Though. I think he is looking at his performance and saying that I think what he's saying in his world is that Josh Allen that you see on the field is good enough to win anything. But as a personal ceiling, no, it's not. I think the way he was looking at it, and he didn't say this. This is me thinking about it now. The way he was looking at it, if you add in, take Gabe Davis out and add in,
Manuel Sanders.
No. Well, I was going to say in terms of now, in terms of Brian Thomas Jr. or something like that.
Okay.
You replace him, and he's saying now with that, now it's going to be the same Josh, but the stats will go up. And for me, I think Josh will be more matured in between the ears too, in running plays, in diagnosing defenses, and getting his men where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. Because I don't think that at 28 years old, 27 years old, this is it for him. I think that there's more for him to show. I think he has more to prove, And a lot of people also are happy, like we talk about all the time, with regards to playoff berths. They just want to get to the playoffs. They don't care about the big dance. They don't care about the trophy. They just want to say we're viable. And at some point, all viable teams have to win it. You got to, or you're not viable. And that's the thing that people miss. Well, look what they didn't do anything after a while. If they keep getting to the same spot, it doesn't matter. You didn't win, so you lost.
Right.
It's two outcomes, no more. This isn't Gloria J. Parks where you get the little trophy just because you showed up every day after school. These are multi-millionaire, quarter billionaires, playing a sport for one goal. And as soon as the common folk like us realize it, it'll be a better fit and a better outlook on what we're actually seeing on the field.
Listen, never mind. Let's just keep.
Go ahead. What you got?
For everybody who has lost patience with Josh at this point, I need you guys to understand what makes things easy for a quarterback. It's offensive line play. It's your running game and the type of running back that you have, and it's the weapons that your quarterback has access to. Okay? If you look at every other good quarterback in the NFL, they have at least 2 of the 5 that I just mentioned. Okay? KC, they drafted their interior line, right? They signed their tackles, but their offensive line is still better than the Bills, hands down. Still. Their run game was better this season than the Bills. Their production in the run game is better than the Bills. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Mahomes got sacked less than Josh. Yes. I could be wrong.
Josh is the least sacked quarterback in the NFL this year.
Okay.
The least sacked quarterback.
But I guarantee that's thanks to Josh getting out of the way of the piss.
Oh, sure.
He didn't want to get peed on, so he moved out the way, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is Josh has more of an uphill battle with his team, just with his offense alone. Not even counting the struggle of trying to overcome coaching decisions and overcoming defensive play in key moments of the game at the end of the game. Just the offense in general, having to overcome the deficits that he has there, right? One play says it all. The play where Deion Dawkins gets pushed into Josh's shoulder by Chris Jones tells you everything you need to know about what Josh has been up against his entire career here in Buffalo. Even when Daboll was here, Daboll covered a lot of blemishes. From a schematic standpoint, think about what Gabe Davis was in Daboll's offense. You think about what he is now. no longer on the team, getting snowballs thrown at him because he can't catch, he can't do this, he can't do that, can't run this route, getting exposed by Patrick Peterson. We didn't think not a lick, nothing negative about Gabe Davis when he was here under Dayball.
What? I hated that guy. I always hated the guy.
You hated anybody that you didn't pick.
Nah. I hate it. I hate. You know what it is for me? What I hate when people get suckered into liking somebody that they shouldn't like as much as they do. That bothers me.
Okay, so let me ask you this: do you think that had Dayball stayed here, Gabe Davis could have been more productive?
No. Gabe Davis is what he was.
How do you explain his consistent growth every year?
It didn't grow every year. He was as soon as he became a starter, he took a dump. He was not a starter, and he was not good as a starter.
But he was never a starter under Dayball, though.
Right, and that's when he was good, right?
No.
When was he good?
I'm saying under Dayball he was good.
Right.
But once Dayball left, he wasn't good no more.
He was a rotational guy under Dayball, and that was all he can be.
Well, that's because they kept putting guys in front of him, but everybody was asking for him to start.
Yeah,
they talked about it in training camp.
Happened?
They talked about it in practice, how he looks great out there and he needs to be a starter.
When he started, what happened? Y'all saw it.
So are you saying when he started, he never made that leap from what he did when he was the rotational guy?
When Gabe Davis was insulated by Emmanuel Sanders. He was insulated by John Brown, and he was at his best when he was in a rotation with them. He's a situational player.
I just don't know if you could say that. Like, there's not enough evidence on either side to make that assessment. Like, we didn't see what he looks like as a full-time starter in Dayball's system. All we saw was his production under Dayball.
I know that, but what I'm saying is Dayball didn't think enough of him to be a starter.
Well, that's not true. How do we know that it was solely Dayball's position or who started?
Well, he didn't. Okay, all right. Let's put it like this: either here nor there. He's not good enough, and people thought he was great. He was like the legend of Kiko. He was because he had what one.
You love Kiko though. I asked you about Kiko. You was like, nah, he's good.
He was good, but he was no legend. I don't say that. I say legend of Kiko because that's what everybody said. But see, he had something on the field where didn't he have like 20 tackles a couple of games, something like that?
I don't know. I never.
He had fumbles for his. He was crazy.
Even when people was going nuts over the kid,
he was nuts.
That first season, he was nuts. Lights out. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but at the same time, let's see. I have. Let's look it up. Let's look up Gabe Davis.
He trying to sound like Cat Williams Coke to Shannon Sharp when he said you have allegiance with losers. It is not like you. Gabe Davis is a loser.
Well, Gabe Davis' first year.
Listen, y'all see what I did with the jersey, so it ain't like I got no allegiance.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying, like, you know, when people say Gabe should have played playoff game, it pisses not because you said, but he had one playoff game and everybody's like, oh, he's a legend. This is him now. This is what they expect out of Gabe. They wanted more of that.
Was it just one?
What, that game?
The playoff game. I thought he had a couple playoff games.
That was his last game under Dayball.
That was it. Four touchdowns, 200+ yards. Yeah, that was it.
Was he involved in the Colts or Ravens game at all?
I can tell you,
absolutely
in the playoffs.
That Colts game, he had two of the biggest catches in the game. And towards the end of the first half, when they were driving and they were trying to get in the field goal range, he had two major catches on the sideline. One on the right sideline, one on the left sideline.
Yeah, we used to call him Mr. Toe Tap.
So that's multiple playoff games right there.
That's what I'm saying. He performed well that entire playoffs.
2021. He had how many catches did he have in the Chiefs game?
Well, we could say catches, but he didn't have that many catches in the Colts
how many catches
game,
did he have,
those
though?
catches
How
that
many
he did have
have
were impactful.
Wasn't it 4 for 4?
Was it 4 for 4? All right, because he had 10 receptions that whole playoff season. So he went 4. He had 3.
I see what you're saying.
He had 42 yards total in that playoff series.
But again, he was like the third receiver in that.
Right. He had 5 touchdowns, 4 in one game.
So he had all his juice in that.
You saw the last game he played against Kansas City when we lost in 13 seconds. This our guy. That's him. Watch, he gonna grow on that. And what happened in the next year? Yeah. Next year he goes in and he has.
If you go watch the tape, he was not used the same way that he was when Dayball was.
Can he run a route tree, a full route tree? No.
Did he need to in the Chiefs game?
That's because he was a rotational guy.
No.
When you make a guy a number 2 receiver, you got to run intermediate, right? You got to run shorts. You got to run more than deeps. Evident by the fact that this man led the league in average depth of target. 17 yards for depth of target.
What's up, Lindsay? We're having a debate about just how good Gabe Davis is.
No, how bad Gabe Davis was. Say it the way I said it.
Chris, what up? We're having a debate about just how good Gabe Davis
This dude
was
don't listen.
under Brian Daboll. I'm trying to make the case that had Daboll stayed here, Gabe Davis might have been a lot better than he turned
Gabe
out
Davis
to be.
sucks.
Thank you.
I think Davis was just outside of a system that worked for him. But
outside of UCF system.
I think my point still stands though. I think if you look at the way he was used in the Chiefs game, it wasn't even if it was a rotational standpoint, he still won on every touchdown that he got. Right? He still had to win those routes. And those were plays that were called to specifically attack a point of the Chiefs defense.
Right.
And he did it.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, if people know how to use, like, what are we talking about? So we're talking about the difference between somebody who knows how to put their players in a position to succeed and somebody who doesn't. It's exactly why Chan Gailey was the one coach that I never wanted to leave, because he made players like Donald Jones and David Nelson and Fitzmagic become the players that they did in the league for the 1 or 2 years that it actually worked, right? And if you look at the way that Gabe Davis was used after that in a starting role, it was, you got to be the guy to take the top off of our defense. If you don't win deep, we don't have anybody else that does that. We don't have anybody else on this offense that can keep the safeties away from Stefon Diggs. Mm-hmm. In that type of scheme, of course Davis is not going to win, because he's going to be forced to run nothing but deep routes or short routes. Like his restriction of route tree based on the offense that he was playing in isn't necessarily his fault. Now, I'm not trying to sit here and say that Gabe Davis would have become an all-pro. What I'm saying is the projection or the trajectory that he was on when we first started to see him in a rotational role, and the plays that he was making at that point do garner some attention to say, look, if he would have stayed in that offense, maybe he could have been a little bit better than he ended up being without Daboll. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying a number 2 receiver that has a 50% catch percentage. That's not going to do it for me.
That wasn't the case when he was a rotational player. He wasn't dropping balls like that. It was better.
It wasn't even him dropping balls.
It was better.
The point is, it wasn't even him dropping balls. It was balls thrown to him. He's not equipped to catch. So you telling me we can't get nobody else that's more equipped to do that job than him?
Lindsay, that's all I'm asking for. If he was a number 2 receiver at best in Daboll's system, that's all we needed at the point. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Chris
I
writes
agree.
in, Gabe Davis is not good for our system. It's not good for our system last year, and this year was the year for him to take the number 2 wide receiver spot, and I didn't see enough of him to change my mind. I agree. Again, I drew an X through his name on that jersey. I know you can't see it. I keep forgetting to bring Sharpie here. I'm not saying that Gabe Davis needs to continue to be here. I'm just simply saying one has to wonder that based on his production under Daboll, might Daboll have gotten more out of him than any of the other offensive coordinators that we had? Because under Daboll, everybody looked at him as, if he just gets a little bit more time, if he gets more reps, if he gets more of a focus on developing him specifically, he could become that number 2 receiver that we've been looking for this whole entire time.
Let's do this. Let's read through the strengths and weaknesses of Gabe Davis on the scouting report. What you got?
Or compare him to other second wide receivers. That's how you do it.
I like that.
Compare him to other second wide receivers. So
I would be all about it.
I got the top free agents right now.
Ooh, do it.
So let's compare him to T. Higgins, which probably to me is the number 1. To me, if we had an opportunity to get him,
he was a number 2, but he could have been a number 1 without.
That's what I'm saying.
If we had the opportunity, I would love to get this guy, but I don't think we'd be able to afford him.
No.
But so 2023 stats: he had 42 catches, 656 yards, 5 touchdowns, 15.6 per reception.
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins.
He got hurt though, didn't he?
He got hurt.
He was hurt a lot. Yeah.
So that's 12 games versus Davis's 7 games.
But all last year, Davis played with a bum ankle.
Yeah, he got on the field though. I mean,
but again, when you're playing with a high ankle sprain and then you're forced to go out there because there's no other outside wide receiver. Like I got this on good authority. I promise you. This is from the source.
I mean that's
he played the whole entire season.
I mean, he had 45 receptions for 746 yards, 7 touchdowns. I mean, okay, the numbers are what they are. They're consistent with what he did every other year he was here. So I mean,
but like who's a better number 2 with better numbers?
Better number 2 with better numbers.
Yep.
Let's do this.
Is his?
Who else you got?
They're starting to put market values on here a lot more now. Do they have Gabe Davis's
12,
market value?
Should still be 12.4, I think. Last I saw
12. I thought it was 14.
His market value.
Yeah.
Last I saw was 12, but that might have been before.
This list I got, it got the top 20 wide receiver free agents, and he's number 5 on this list.
All right, I got the whole list here on Spotrac. I'm just seeing if I can find them. So, okay, here he is. So, Gabe Davis's market value is, drum roll, is $13.6 million right now.
We're in the middle.
So, yeah, I mean, it's,
we be right in the middle.
It's right dead smack in the middle. Again, I wouldn't sign him for that. They're saying his market value be 4 years, $54 million.
Yeah.
No way in hell.
That's number 2.
No.
So
right, that's the number 2 right there.
I'll put it like this: I can only name a few number 2s who was way better than him. Brandon Ayuk, way better than him. Mm-hmm. To me,
you could even, but that's the thing. Like all of the guys that I'm pretty sure you're about to name are guys that could be number 1s on another team that don't have a number 1.
But this is the interesting thing, because this is what I think. People call me crazy all you want.
I would never.
Once Gabe Davis get picked up by another team, I bet you he blows up.
No doubt.
I bet you he blows up.
I believe he'll be better than he was here.
Because I think it's in between both. Like, I like him. Is he an elite wide receiver? He's not. However, I think he would have been better in another system, not like ours.
It's the Stefon Gilmore argument, right? Because we all of us, by the time we got to the end of Gilmore's rookie contract, we were all like, yo, fine. Patriots going to regret that decision all day long. Guess what? They did not. Why? Because they knew how to use them. You know what I'm saying? So, again.
Yeah, I mean, I can go with that. I mean, I can go with that. I'm not going to say Gabe Davis is hot slime total.
Right.
But, I mean, I could say it, but no, Ken wants to figure out how to sleaze his way into saying bad words. He told me and T today how he said something in the background. He was like, what did he say? I was like, he said, I didn't say the T. You can't say the T,
Ray be
and I'm
trying
good.
to do stuff like that, too. Like,
yeah,
what?
like,
boy.
And then he goes on the tirade of how to use other words without. I'm like, yo, okay.
Dad,
really
I said
it.
sugar, honey, iced tea. You can't count that.
He's like, I said,
you can't count it.
No tea. Shit.
No, that don't work.
I'm like, but his conviction they had me. I was like, you got it. You got the juice. Like, what's in there?
Not what you say, Dad. It's how you say it.
What you mean? What's the inflection on it? But no, I agree. But see, the thing about Gabe Davis is this, and it's not even a contention point for what we're talking about. It's just the fact that in his report at UCF, he did the same thing. Like, they didn't ask him to do anything different than what they drafted him to do. Run deep all day long. His strengths. He had multiple. What did you say? Multiple 5 touchdown games or something like that. Hold on a second. No, five multiple touchdown games in 2019. Doesn't have threatening initial surge in routes, tight hips and quickness in breaks. Ran a limited route tree in college. Takes plays off when he's not the primary target. So, I mean,
that I can definitely see.
Oh yeah,
I can definitely see that. Right, when he's not he kind of, I don't know if it's frustration or it's like
he doesn't know how to sell.
Or like what's the Steelers receiver who kind of did that?
Oh, Pickens?
No, not Pickens.
Deontay.
Yeah,
because Pickens did it too.
Where he kind of, I'm not the guy, so he was like acting lazy, like, bro, like, what you doing?
They're
like,
rebelling. Canada still there, wasn't he?
Yeah,
they're rebelling because I know Pickens did it too. It was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, so I could definitely see, like, when you're not the guy, you can kind of like, all right, whatever. Mm-hmm. Blocking again, here I go. Or out here again, you know. Right.
I mean, I get it, you know, and I'm glad that he's gonna price himself out of Buffalo. We can start fresh because we got guys that will do the job we need. Yeah. Better, cheaper, and younger.
I could see him going to like the Colts and balling out, Jacksonville balling out, like.
Go to the Colts and be like, what's the guy that was there?
Lindsay, you think you funny? She said, like he said, he's a number 3 at best. You just said he was a number 2 at best. Chris writes in, Gabe is number 39 in wide receivers in 2023 fantasy pro stats.
That's really good.
That's not bad.
That's
really
not
good.
bad at all.
That's really good. That's
he had some big games.
that would be
but
7th or best wide receiver 2.
Yeah.
That technically puts him above, let's see, 39. That puts him above
Like
24 other, right? No, 7. So 20,
60, yeah,
25,
64.
25 other number 2 receivers.
Yeah, like in our division, is he better than every number 2 wide receiver? Is he
Yeah.
better than Waddle? I mean, he's got better numbers than Waddle, but I think Waddle's
Waddle's better than him.
better
I
wide
say.
receiver.
True.
But I think he's better than New England's, better than the Jets.
Who is New England's?
You got Kendrick
had-
Bourne and
and-
Juju.
Yep.
Juju's a 3. He's a 3.
He was
I
there
didn't know he was a
once,
number
sir.
2, huh?
He was there once,
I
sir.
know.
I didn't know he was a 2. Like,
Dude, he was the one on Kansas City.
well, that's easy because you got Kelsey. You know,
I know.
it's like just pass the ball to Will. I don't care who the number 1 is. Give me the ball.
Like, honestly, like, off the top of my head, Brandon Ayuk, Tyler Lockett, Waddle,
Yep.
maybe the rookie and
This ain't fair. You know I
Rookie
can't
and-
tell you none of these people. He
don't
naming them
know
all.
him?
No, those people I know.
Oh.
I'm supposed to rattle off number 2s now.
maybe Jordan Addison in Minnesota.
He's not better than
Jordan
Addison.
Addison, huh?
What?
What were you saying?
What'd you say?
Addison better, right? You would say Addison
Yeah,
better,
okay.
right?
Addison better.
Addison better, yeah. So
Addison's
like,
definitely better.
Oh, I'm like, what? Huh? Why are we going to argue about what? What I'm saying?
and then who else we got? Tank Dell,
Tank Dell. See, is he
Jacksonville?
the number 2?
Yeah.
Jacksonville.
Is he
Yeah.
the number 2?
Well, technically
No, he's
you
a
got
3 there.
Yeah, but
technically
they
you
got
got
Noah
what you
Brown
call was
and-
number 1, Nico.
Nico and Noah
Nico Collins
Brown
and
is
then,
over there.
But I feel like
Brown.
Tank Dell was the number 2 there.
See, if you see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, if you give me a Tank Dell kind of thing, where
Yeah.
I'm a number 2, but we already got 2 solid number 1, like Tyler Boyd. Ha ha! See, I got one.
No, Noah Brown was the number 2 there
Yeah,
in terms of who they tried to get the ball to most. But because of the style of their offense,
Tank Dell was.
Tank Dell was
Dell was
killing
their number 2 downfield threat. It was always Collins. Like Collins is their number 1
Yeah.
everywhere, right? And
Yeah.
justifiably so. But I think everybody that you named on a team that had no number 1 would be the number 1. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that is saying something about Gabe Davis's ceiling, right? It's just a matter of him going to a team that knows how to develop receivers like that. Like people were saying the same exact stuff about DK Metcalf, tight hips, right? Doesn't run the whole route tree. Everybody said this about him.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, I hear you. I know where you're going with that, and that's true. But DK Metcalf also has a 4.3 speed.
Okay, Alshon Jeffrey. People said the same exact thing about Alshon
He
Jeffrey.
wasn't a downfield threat though. They didn't use him as a downfield
He
threat.
ended up being a downfield threat in the NFL.
I thought he was an intermediate. I remember him having a lot of intermediate balls,
He
a
kinda
lot of
remind
contested
He
catches.
remind me of like a Brandon Marshall type receiver.
Right.
Who's that? Gabe?
All I'm saying is,
Alshon Jeffrey.
even if he wasn't a downfield threat, and I've never bought into the idea that Gabe Davis is a downfield threat. I think Alshon Jeffrey is a great comparison because when you look at the skill set for both of those guys, when you look at the body that they possess, the ability to box guys out and make big plays over receivers, Gabe Davis has that ability. Alshon Jeffrey had much more of that ability, and he was bigger too, which added to that that ability. But I think whoever knew how to use Alshon, like when Alshon Jeffrey was with who drafted him, the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears drafted him, but then he ended up going where? I think he went to the Eagles, right?
He was in Philly. I don't know if that's where he went after the Bears, but yeah, he was in Philly.
But anyway, if I'm not mistaken, he left the Bears because they weren't using him right. And then when he went to Philly and he got a chance to play with Carson Wentz and them boys, he was balling. He was. Let me see what his
Who was that? Jeffrey?
yeah,
I got
Alshon
it.
Jeffrey.
So he
You got it?
was.
Yeah. So what are we looking at? You went
So yeah,
totality?
He got
Or-
drafted by the Bears. He was there for the Bears for 4 years, and then he went to the Eagles for 3 years.
Which is ironic because he had his best 2 seasons of his career in Chicago.
In Chicago.
Yep, he had a 1,421 yard season, 7
Wait,
touchdowns.
was that the year that Jay Cutler was there? Was it him and
probably? Hold on. Yep, Jay Cutler and Josh McCown.
Ooh, he got the yards with Josh McCown?
Well, both of them because Cutler didn't do much. Cutler only went
who was
for
the head coach at the time?
Trestman.
Mark Trestman.
Yep. So once he went
offensive-minded guy.
Once he went to Philly, he fell off a cliff. That's basically what happened. He fell off a cliff once he went to Philly.
Well, he dealt with a lot of injuries there too, though.
Average yards. Let's see. Average yards per depth per target 11. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. 11 yards per target.
But it took because the Trestman wasn't the coach when they drafted Jeffries.
It took second year. So whoever drafted him, let's see. Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith drafted him. And who they have on that team?
And then after that is when they hired Trestman, a year later?
Yep. And they had Devin Hester, Brandon Marshall. So, yeah, I mean, by virtue of that, he wasn't seeing the field.
Right.
But, no, I mean, yeah, he that's the thing. If you're telling me that Gabe Davis is operating within the 8 to 12-yard area, cool. But, I mean, his average depth of target for his career is over 17. That's insane to ask him to do that. And that's not even his fault, but that's his game. But it's not his game, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So, I mean, it maybe like I said, I'm not going to say
he was thrust upon him.
Yeah, I'm not going to say he sucks. Right. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Right.
I'm not going to say he sucks, but it just brought us little value to what we needed. And that's why, for who was it, Chris said, number 39, it makes sense now because don't you get more points when they get a 40-yard catch, you get more. Yeah, and that's what he did. That's what he was doing. Yeah. So
he'll be high on the fantasy radar for 2024.
Absolutely. I might even take him.
Yeah, because wherever he goes, man.
I go take him.
I might even take him.
I start a game today.
Let me get that. The game haters and have him on my team. But no. How do we even get on Gabe Davis?
Well, we were talking about the Bills' number 2 receivers.
Oh yeah. I think Steph Diggs should ease into the role of the number 2. Not that he's going to be the number 2, but we need to get somebody here that we are not afraid to say we're taking type stuff.
Speaking of Diggs, he also he quoted that he wants to retire as a Bills.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys feel about that?
Oh, you already know.
Hey,
because it seemed like he doesn't want to be traded. But if he does get traded, how would you guys feel about that?
I would understand it financially and like as a business move, but he's a kid who wants to win, bro. Like he wants to win, and everybody knows he wants to win. Like I just saw a video. He's with his brother and Cam Newton right now, getting it in.
I'd be pissed if they did a post January 1st anything. That's when I'd be pissed.
Yeah,
just take the hit.
Yeah,
just take the $32 million right now. Just get it out of the way.
Yeah,
because at that point you're neutering your team anyway. I mean, say what you want about Steph Diggs, like you say about Josh, maybe to a lesser degree, but without Steph Diggs, where are you really?
Yeah.
And I don't really want to find out just yet until I know who my wide receiver 2 and 3 and whatever is going to be.
And I would definitely say if you lose Steph Diggs, that's not you didn't get better. If you lost
that's
Diggs.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You didn't get better.
Just by virtue of having that name on the field, he didn't fall off a cliff. He just, for whatever reason, it just didn't work out when he was with Brady. But I'm going to give him time to fix it.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him time to fix it because he has the work ethic to do it.
He got a whole offseason, a whole new year, a whole new offensive coordinator who has, like, now he's in there day one so he can do what I like. His talent and what he brings to the field, like, they got to find a place for him, and I think he'll figure it out. He'll figure it out because he's a competitor.
Yeah. You need that. I mean, that tells you, like you like to say, it tells you about the organization if you make certain moves like getting rid of him. What did you do it for?
Yeah.
Right.
You know. And going into that, I want to test your hypothesis with the Sabres. They're chanting the Fire Donnies now. They're chanting Fire Donnie at every Sabres game now.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. They're chanting Fire Donnie. So it's to the point where the Sabres, the actual players, don't even come out and salute the fans anymore after the game. They just
Have we not learned our lesson? Have we not? What?
They trying to get rid of Don Gennaro?
They want to get rid of Granado.
Really?
Yeah, they want to get rid of Granado.
I have not seen.
Like it's his fault?
Yeah, that's
Gotta be somebody.
I've not seen more players be developed under a coach than under Granado.
It's not the player. Their players are protesting for him.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not. Yeah, they want him to stay, but the fans are saying fire Donnie.
Because they don't know no better. And guess what? I guarantee ownership is going to let him take the blame.
If they want to see Phil Housley again, Raul Kruger again,
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like you got so upset at Lindy Ruff for everything that was happening that wasn't his fault. What did he do? He only went to where did he go? Dallas.
Dallas.
He went to Dallas and got them to a Stanley Cup. Mm-hmm. He didn't win, but he got them there.
Something to build on.
Right. He showed everybody it wasn't me. It definitely wasn't me. Yeah. Right. I'm so tired of I'm so tired of how these teams allow their fans to be so uneducated. Right? And when I say uneducated, I mean not give them enough information to have a strong understanding of what is actually happening. It's almost like the teams here in Buffalo enjoy keeping the fans ignorant. As long as they don't know what's going on, as long as there's nobody out there to educate them on how to read between the lines and understand what's really happening behind the scenes, and everything else that we allow, to go out on social media and news media and all that kind of stuff is controlled by us. We'll keep everybody else. We'll keep everybody at bay, and we'll be able to do whatever we want. It's a monopoly. It's a monopoly. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, these rich people have come here and taken the city by hostage. And we're letting it happen. That's part of the reason why I felt it was necessary to start a show like this in the way that we talk about the team, because we love the team. We want them to win. But damn, can we get some competency at the top?
Yeah.
Can we get somebody who knows what they're doing? Can we get somebody who hires a guy like the 49ers GM? Like when they what's the kid's name? Lynch. When they hired Lynch, how many of y'all, like, show of hands, how many of y'all really thought that Lynch would go in there and know what he was doing as a GM? Not me. No. Right?
Stay down.
I mean, I figure he was a great player, right? He had a good career, so he knows at least on the defense side of the ball. But I didn't know he was going to be like, all right, boom, boom, boom. The way he produced,
right?
You ain't know.
But somebody had a decent idea,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When Sean McVay was hired, somebody had a decent idea. All that offensive talent in the coaches they had in Washington, and they couldn't get it done. Why? Because their head coach was incompetent. Yep. All of a sudden, all them guys what was the head coach's name at the time?
Rivera? No. What year? You talking about
the young guy? He had a brother that coached.
Hold on, I can get it. Before Rivera, right? Right before?
Yeah, before Rivera.
Okay, hold on.
It's Jay something.
Gruden?
Jay Gruden. Yeah, Jay Gruden. All the coaches that he had up under him, he had Shanahan, he had McVay, he had O'Donnell. Wait, it's O'Connell. I'm sorry. Who else did he have? He had Bobby Slowick. Like, those four names alone were under Jay Gruden. But because he was incompetent, it don't work out, right? We Thank you, Lindsay. It was Jay Gruden. I didn't look down. I'm gonna do that more often, I promise. I just, like, this is what really, like, it's what bites me in the butt, man. Like, people don't take the time to think things through. But we get boozed up and we go to these games and we start chanting for people's heads to get, like, the reason I call for Sean McDermott's head to get cut off is because of what I've seen. And it's not just after 2 years of, making the playoffs and making the AFC championship and then the next year we don't win. Oh, the coach is a bum. No, it's all the stuff in between that we've seen happen with Sean. Like, if anybody deserves to leave, it's Sean. When you make the kind of mistakes that he's made, like, Okay. I don't know if y'all watch, a whole bunch of hockey. I know you said you've been getting more and more into it. What major mistakes has Granato made as a head coach?
I'm not sure.
Has he had a 13 seconds-esque, like anybody that's watching that knows anything about the Sabres, what has been the most egregious thing that Don Granato has done?
I think what it is, you know what I think is people blaming him for Tage Thompson's fall off. Darlene's kind of stagnant. We still haven't really found a goalie. I think that's what they're holding him accountable for. But see, I would kill to have that as a Bills coach, not him per se, but the mentality. Because what don't you get? You don't have Von Miller coming at $120 million. You don't have to follow him up and get Leonard Floyd at 30 years old at $10 million. You don't have to do that
young
stuff.
Dudes, man.
Yeah, they're all young. Our team is the second, third oldest.
Yeah.
So I mean, of course you're going to be getting here when you have all these guys that have been here for a million years.
Right.
Get there when the guys are young. Get there when you develop, and that's why I like Babbitt so much because I mean I know we joked around a lot, but I didn't care if he called plays. I just want him to put his hands on young players.
Right.
I want him to get in the room and show them, like he did with even Poyer and High. He made them better. Yeah. And they had careers before they came here. Terrell Bernard, everybody laughed at. He made him serious. He made us not laugh at Dodson. Dodson was the beast last year. Yeah. Milano, we already knew. But the thing is, Dodson played next to who? Bernard, because Milano was out. So wasn't Milano making them better?
Right.
It was them on the strength of their coaching, the scheme. That was what we wanted to have, and that's what I need to see across the board on this team.
Yeah. One thing I hear about the Sabres is that what they complain about is the inconsistency. Like one night, these Sabres show up. The next night, these Sabres show up. So they blaming the coach. Like, coach, what's going on? Why? What was with the inconsistency?
Like they scored 9 points this, and then they score one.
Yeah, crazy, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would love to have a mix because I do like a lot of components of McDermott, but I would love it leaves a lot to be desired. It leaves a whole lot to be desired because we don't have money, as we see what happens when you go ahead and buy old players. Yep. Yeah. We sit here with $51 million in the hole. As the Chiefs that just won the Super Bowl have $26 million to the good.
Yep.
And their coach is coming back. Their tight end is coming back. They can do whatever they want because all they got to do is get L'Jarius Sneed to sign on and getting Chris Jones running back. You can run that back.
Are they even losing anybody?
If they don't lose Chris Jones, he already said, I'm coming back.
Yeah, he said he's coming back.
He said the parade. Even though Bruce Brown said that at the Nuggets parade, you see he's in Indy right now. That booze will get you. But, I mean, he wants $30 million. They'll figure it out. Mahomes already said, I'm going to make it work.
Yep.
L'Jarius Sneed, I'm going to make it work. We ain't got nothing to make work because Josh – we already know Josh is gonna take a vet min restructure, which puts him at 1.7, and it frees up half of the deficit we have. What are you gonna do with the other 25? You gonna re-sign Von Miller for another 3 years? You gonna put more void years on him? You gonna do Deion? Is that what we're gonna do? That's what we have to do. So
they would have to re-sign Von in order to rip up the contract they currently
you would have
to.
Yeah, you have to re-sign. You could restructure his deal, but now you're adding on another 3 years, 3 voided years at the end. So now he's on the books for, let's see, okay, so he's on the books till, I think this is his last year without voided years. But he wants to play all 6, which would mean he's going to go to 27. But to make this work, you would have to go to 2030. He's not going to be in the team in 2030, but he's still going to be on our dead cap books.
Yeah. He would have to be if those are void years.
The void years going against your dead cap.
Are you serious?
That's the gotcha. That's why I hate restructures, because you restructure, you throw all that money in the void years, those go into your dead cap.
Wow.
And that's what I've been screaming about. Everybody, oh yeah, you could. That's why they say the salary cap isn't real, because they just keep dumping in this bucket of void years.
It's like the money don't fall off.
Right. It don't go nowhere.
Like, even though it's okay, yeah, you got a new structure, but that other contract, like, that money is still there. You just can't say, okay, that is gone. You can't
they just keep moving it to it's like what do you call it? A shell account. Overseas, it's like we're doing money laundering with these guys at this point.
Yeah.
And as much as I love Diggs, I don't want to restructure him again, because I don't know how much longer I'm going to get with him before he hates bills or hates, or he gets old and can't do it. But I don't want to pay him $20 million on my salary cap books in 26 to make it work. And that's what we're looking at. Taron Johnson, you can extend him. I think he's like 28 years old. You can extend Deion Dawkins if you want again, which I know you would love. But I mean, this we're running out of options. That's the thing. Because our rookies, you can't do anything with their contract because it is what it is. Yeah. So now you got these old cats. I'm like, you got to get a whole bunch of Tim Sellers that take salary cap cuts.
This is exactly why when I start on a Madden team, I scrape everybody, even if it gives me $100 million in dead cap, and I just draft everybody because from there I can begin to structure everything how I want it. I have a whole cascade effect of these are my starters, so these guys get the contracts. I can get rid of this little middle class I have going on here and fill them with minimum vet men free agents, and then I bring in the rookies and develop them because they'll be a 3 or 4 year gap in between the average players that I have, the up and comers and the starters. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you easily do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't understand why people don't think that way in the NFL though.
The thing is, it's a medium because you look at it right now. Who are we losing? Epinesa. We're losing, guys of that ilk that you could bring back, and they're not going to cost you a fraction what you're paying Vaughn. So you can still keep your guys and let them grow, but you can't do that when you're bringing in guys to supersede them on the depth chart every year. You got Kyer Elam. We traded up to get him. I'm not sure about it. Go get Josh Norman.
Right.
What?
Right.
Based on what we know about Sean right now, based on everything we've seen, the Tyler Dunn report, all that stuff, do we think that Sean has reached a point where he's ready to fully take his hands off of, I'll say, player control, player development, in order to let the position coaches that he's put in place do their job, let the coordinators that he's picked do their job without any restrictions?
I don't think he's ready yet. I think he wants to be ready, but it's like that, like that overbearing father, mother. Go ahead, right? Somebody, oh, don't do it. I would just do it. Let me help you out. That's what's gonna happen. And it's not that he's gonna do it maliciously, but it's just you can't help watching your baby sink without putting your hands in. I can fix it. Let me just give one more chance. And I think that's where he is with it. So I think he's going to give more grease, which you see the hires that we've had, Bobby Babbage with connections that he's bringing in, and especially Joe Brady with the connections he's brought in. Those are his hires, I think, because every one of the guys that we brought in or have touched has some kind of connection with him.
What you got?
I'm thinking like what Keith said. I'm thinking that he slowly but surely is letting go because he's letting people bring in who they want in, not necessarily who he wants in. Mm-hmm. So I think he's already doing that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? How much is he going to do it? Like when the new season starts, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I think he's making little leaps and bounds now.
Yeah, he's not going to let him sink. He's gonna like when Frazier. When he took to play Call of Duty from Frazier that game,
yeah,
that's something like you might see again. I'll relinquish it. Wait a minute, don't like it. I'm gonna take it from here,
right?
And we'll start fresh next week. And I can see him doing stuff like that,
right.
But yeah, I think getting into an area where he's comfortable with the guys that he has. I mean, I gotta allow him grace to see what his guys are made of. I got to allow him a game or two to figure it out and say, okay, you got it. Hands are off. Let me know when you need me.
Right.
But, I think it'd be tough to expect him to do it from day one, from jump.
I agree with Mac. I think, with everything that I've seen, everything that I know, I think, the Bobby Babbage hiring, I have to see what ends up happening with the defense in order for me to really believe that. But the offensive coordinator being able to bring in guys he's familiar with, to me, says a lot more, especially because it's on the offensive side. It's a side of the ball that it seems like Sean McDermott has tried to get more and more control of after Daboll left, for the last 3 years. So, seeing – and a part of this, I think, is due to – some of what Sean has wanted to see from the offense come out, right? But again, one of the things that Sean was big on was I want to run game. When Daboll was here, it wasn't necessary.
Right.
We didn't need a run game.
Right.
And I wholeheartedly understand Daboll's position on that, but going forward, I want a run game. Okay, Dayball tried to do it, wasn't great at it, right? And then we get Brady in here. He makes it happen. Okay, cool. Because you've given me something that I've wanted to see on this team, since I've had this team, you go ahead and do what you got to do. You pick your guys. You know what I'm saying? So even though it seems like Brady is getting more leeway, I don't want to be fooled by that just yet either. So I'm kind of in a wait and see kind of position, but I do think to a smaller degree, it does seem as though Sean has begun the process of taking his hands off.
Yeah.
And letting his players play, letting his coaches coach, and hopefully that's the key to this whole thing continuing to get better. The only thing that frustrates me is seeing the fruition of all that in the divisional game. That was Sean's best opportunity, I think, to really change people's minds about who he was. And at the end of the day, it didn't matter. It didn't matter because the same mistakes kept getting made. There was one big bonehead call in that game that falls solely on Sean's shoulders, and it is what it is. Lindsay writes in, I was going to use the same kid learning to ride a bike analogy as Key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's we're going to see a lot of things revealed in this offseason. We're going to see a lot of things revealed in free agency. Because the telling point is what offense are we going to run? I mean, Joe Brady is air raid. Mm-hmm. And you said McDermott wants to run. So if we draft and try to re-up a run game, outside of Ty Johnson, something like that, which I expect to have back. I want to have back.
Yeah.
If we start stacking on those 230-pound running backs that just run as slow as all get out, whose offense it is. Right. And that takes us back to, I think it was our first or second show. Whose offense is this really?
Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting episode. We really went deep into that one.
We did.
I enjoyed doing that. I think we'll get an opportunity to definitely do something like that again this year.
Yeah.
With all the training camp stuff and things that'll be available to us at that point. But
and I'm not nervous anymore.
Wait, did you get a chance to go back and watch some of the earlier episodes?
I watched some of them.
Weren't they trash? They were horrible. They were absolutely horrible.
I think they were. It's funny when you watch them back, it's not as bad as it is when you live in the moment.
That's
true.
I'm
bombing. I'm doing this, that, and then you watch it back like, huh?
For me, it was like the awkward pauses because neither one of us knew.
Right.
Neither one of us knew where to go. We just camera flips back. You sitting there nodding. Camera flips back to me. All right. So what do we have here?
Inner crickets.
Oh my goodness. All right. So I think we're at a point now where we can table this because we have the coup de grace. We have the coup de grace. We have the thing that Mac has been waiting to get to.
Yes.
All day long.
We gonna do it too. We gonna do it.
Evans.
Yes.
So
Stefon Diggs replacement.
Stefon Diggs. Did you know? I have a stat here. I have to find my stat.
Is that Adam Henry I see there?
That's the coach. Yeah, that's the wide receivers coach. Oh, yeah. While we're doing that, Adam Henry, he's been here since 2023. Before us, he was with Dallas 2020 to 2021 with Eric Coryell and your boy C.D. Lamb.
Oh, you making some points here.
Cleveland Browns, 2018 2019 wide receivers coach.
Eric Coryell.
Now, it gets a little interesting in New York in 2016, 2017, and San Fran in 2015. He started off as a West Coast offense. But 2016, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Odell Beckham still there?
2016, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so they have he had familiarity with them from LSU days. He comes with a wealth of knowledge. He actually was a wide receiver from McNeese State, where he played 3 seasons. Actually went back after, I don't want to say a failed attempt at the NFL, but he did sign as an undrafted free agent in the NFL in, I believe, 94. But he ended up staying with McNeese State as assistant head coach, offensive coordinator for 10 years before he went to Louisiana State, LSU. where he met the illustrious Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. As you know, they had great careers that landed them in the first round of the 2013 NFL draft. Obviously, he was in the Air Coryell, as we said before, which is what Joe Brady ran, which is what I feel like we're going to go to. Air Coryell, Air Raid, same thing. Mm-hmm. And as Mel likes to say, I'm just going to say it again, Sedarius Lamb. He worked with him in Dallas. And I believe in those 2 seasons he had over 1,000 yards and at least one of them over 100 receptions.
Let's go, baby.
Wait, this is a Bill show. This is a Bill show. Relax.
All right. I'll tell you what, man. If that boy ever come to Buffalo, bro, it's over.
You gonna feel like I feel when Steph came?
Over.
You gonna feel like I feel when Steph came?
I don't think Dallas would ever let him go. He's wearing number 88. Man. He's played the way he played for that team.
I don't know, man. If he has some little issues with Dak, so if Dak be like,
that's
nah, get up out of here.
Isn't that something? Dak Prescott could very well be the reason that whole team gets blown up. Like players don't want to play there because of Dak.
Yeah, because of Dak.
I would love CD Lamb.
So let me ask you this, because I only have one. Actually, I'm sorry, incorrect. I have 2 receivers in free agency that I think would work here no matter what. Mm-hmm. Do you have any free agent wide receivers that you're looking at as like, yo, if the Bills sign this dude, it has to be viable too, though. It can't be like, you know.
That was the buzzkill. I was like, ooh, oh, yeah. His money, ooh, oh.
So for me, looking at this list right here, right? Again, viable, and to me, as Keyshawn already said it, we got the oldest team. I want to go younger, man.
Okay.
I was a lot of those. I was like, oh, I like.
So for me,
30? Screw you.
Big baller Bean, he got to figure it out, man. I know we tight with money, but he got to figure it out. If we can get at least one of these dudes and still draft one, I'm happy. Because you got to think about it right now. Look at our wide receiver room right now, right?
You said draft one?
Well, when I say one,
hey, okay.
I mean I'm talking like a first rounder.
No, I know.
Right, and the reason why I say that because I'm looking at two wide receivers that can fill our team now. Because right now we got Diggs, Shakir, and Hardy. Right. Mm-hmm. Now, if we can get, let's say the free agent or if we do get a number 1 wide receiver, they're probably gonna get on the field immediately, right? But you can't put them all on the field at the same time. I mean, you can in certain formations, but your base formation is not going to have all 4 of them on there. So really, you're going to need one guy to be your all-roll guy, right? Mm-hmm. So with that, there's a couple players that I'm looking at that I would love to have on our team, and I think that they could bring something to the table. I would love to get T. Higgins, but I don't think there's no way we're better to afford that guy.
We said viable.
There's no way we're better to afford him. I'm just saying, if I had my choice, give me T. Higgins all day, but we can't afford him, right?
I like the disclaimer at the end.
However, bro, I could rock with Darnell Mooney.
I don't know enough about him. I know he's Chicago, right?
Man. Yes.
I could definitely rock
26 years old. I like his frame. I like his body. Like, to me, he seems like another. When I say this, Keyshawn, I don't mean he's like the player. I'm meaning
Gabe
that
Davis?
he's not being used properly, like Gabe Davis.
Okay.
I believe here, because I think Darnell Mooney can run all the routes.
100%.
Right?
Okay.
I think here he'll be able to be used viable more than he is in Chicago.
Yep.
Yeah,
I would love to have Darnell Mooney here.
His market value is $10.4 million right now.
Yeah, see, that's where I crumble right there.
Too much?
That's where I crumble.
How you figure?
10.4?
No number 2 receiver is going for much less than that. I think that might be the lowest.
No, well, see, my logic is my number 2 is going to be a rookie anyway. That's where I am.
Oh, got you. Okay. So you don't want a free agent at all?
This is why I asked you, because I don't even.
You don't want a free agent at all?
No, he don't.
No, I do want free agents.
You do?
I do.
A free agent
See,
receiver?
speaking for me.
Ooh, I guarantee whoever you name.
I guarantee you gonna laugh at me, but I'm still gonna say him.
Who?
I had Noah Brown. He was 1.
As a free agent?
Yeah, he's 5. His market value is 5.6 right now.
As a number 2 receiver.
As Trent Sherfield. If nothing else pops in the draft, which is where I've been fumbling with the draft.
We can't afford a Trent Sherfield this year.
We can afford $5.6 million. That we can do.
Well, we would have to get rid of.
No. This you could do avoidable years. You could get him for 1.7. You can get from vet men. Do a 1 year with 1 year avoidable.
Like why? Why even do that? Why even make the investment? Why? Well,
what are you gonna do? You're gonna go with okay. What about Kendrick Bourne?
I like
4.7.
I like KJ Osborne.
I like
KJ Osborne was like $8 million. So
what? He's more?
His market value 7.5.
How? Yeah. Oh, that's why, because he's younger.
Yeah, so he could do a 2-year, $15 million contract.
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
No,
I don't know enough about him.
He obviously does. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, you don't like him?
No. Donovan Peoples-Jones is a slightly faster version of Gabe Davis.
Good.
Can he run all the routes though?
If he's faster than
he
Gabe
can
Davis,
run more routes than Gabe Davis has.
Well, that's a plus.
If he can run the routes Gabe Davis runs faster,
yeah, that's a plus.
If Gabe Davis could beat Gabe Davis faster, send him to speed camp.
I said slightly faster. He's not that much faster than Gabe Davis.
Okay, let's see. Okay,
he's like right at the threshold of speed receiver status.
Oh well, he's way faster than Gabe Davis then.
No.
Why are we making? You got to change the name of the show to Gabe Davis. We hardly knew ye. But no, before I did have a stat.
Okay.
Before we even got into three, I kind of glossed over it. My bad. But did you guys know? In the last 5 seasons, I just signed in. Hold on a second. Let me re-sign it because it's acting wonky. Oh, I'm already signed in. There's only been 3 receivers to have 100+ yards, 100+ receptions
in the last 5.
In the last 5,
Cooper Kupp.
Okay. No.
Cooper Kupp, yeah.
No.
In the last 5 seasons, he had 100 catches.
Not 5. Not 5.
Oh,
yeah, 5. The last 5 he's had every year for the last 5 years. Cooper Kupp's only in his like 3rd year. So
what was the statement again?
Gotcha.
There's only been 3 wide receivers that have had 100+ receptions over the last 5 years.
So Stefon.
I wouldn't do this if it wasn't for Stefon. I didn't know that though.
It's got to be my. Wait, was he hurt 1 year? Devontae. Yep, Devontae.
Yeah.
Of course, Tyreek.
No,
not Reek.
No, he never had over 100.
So
over
Steph,
100. And it wasn't
Devontae. In the last, so they're still playing, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna give you a hint. Somewhat. That's a loose question.
It's a loose question.
He's still in the league.
Okay.
Whether he's playing or not, I don't know because he almost never does.
Oh wow!
I'll give it to you.
Odell Beasley?
Nah, I'll give it to you.
Amari
the only players in the last 5 years that have 100 receptions every year.
I'm a kick myself.
Devontae Adams.
Yep.
Stefon Diggs. Yep. You want one more shot at it? His name starts. It almost sounds like my name at first.
I know.
Who?
Tampa Bay.
Who? Mike
nope.
Evans?
What?
Nope.
He not on there?
Not there. I have a list. Okay. So, from 2018, you got Keenan Allen, Stefon Diggs, and Devontae Adams. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the other 2?
No, those are the 3 that have.
Keenan Allen was the last one.
I thought it was 5 receivers.
No, there's 3 receivers with 5 with all 5 of the last.
Got you.
Tyreek Hill was number 4 with 3 seasons out of the last 5 over 100. DeAndre Hopkins 3 seasons over the last 5 years. Michael Thomas 3 seasons. Amon-Ra St. Brown 2 seasons. CeeDee Lamb 2 seasons. Justin Jefferson, obviously he's new to the game, so 2.
Right.
Antonio Brown in the last 5 years had 2. Adam Thielen 2. So Puka Nacua, he's already on the boards. So when people say Stefon Diggs falling off a cliff, and I'm not trying to go back. I was going to lead in when we started with who we had on the team already, so it's not like I'm going back. But
yeah,
he's going to give you this. Now, how many yards he gives you with that?
That's different. Right?
It's going to be 1,000. He had 1,100 this year, but he was on pace to get like 1,800 this year. And we got guys that are going to come up. Julian Edelman actually is on the list too. That's crazy. Larry Fitzgerald once, Julio Jones once, Juju once. Tyler Lockett once. So there's a lot of names on here. This is per stat head.
So only 3 receivers had it 5 years
in the last 5 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They're a bucket, as they call it. These are your buckets. And as it plays out, everybody said Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the game. Keenan Allen, that's what I was saying. Is he still playing? I'm like, loosely translated. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you guys want to go back and kind of touch on who we have on the roster before we go into free agency, because that might set up something.
So for me, I only the original question he asked is how many free agent guys. I only got 2 who I would think we can afford and we could use on the Bills team. So for me, it's KJ Osborne and Darnell Mooney.
So based on what the Bills have done every year since Sean has been here, they've tried to fill every hole that they have through free agency in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's a vet min guy that they bring in that they feel can compete for the number 2 job, that seems like enough of a name that people might even believe that he could be the number 2 guy with a little bit of hope and a little bit of whatever magic. And then they go into the draft, and then they try to do what they call drafting best player available, right? Somehow, some way, some shape, some form, they never actually draft the best player available at the position. They typically end up drafting for a need and the player that they feel is best available that fits that need.
They get spooked. That's what they do. They get spooked because they wanted Trent McDuffie. He got taken. Oh shit! We gotta go get.
Who's next? Who's the next guy?
Elam.
Right.
Elam. Yeah. Never mind Roger McCreary. Never mind Kyler Gordy. Look at him. Yeah. He had a notebook.
Right.
They probably know his name. Who's the guy with the notebook? What's his name? We got 10 seconds. Hurry up.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's like they're unprepared.
It really is. Kincaid, they moved up because they were like, I don't want Michael Mayer.
Right.
Even though he's an inline tight end, I don't want him.
I'd rather have Kincaid than Mayer.
That was my guy. But what I'm saying is, when they jumped up, it wasn't like it's a huge fall off.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a fall off a cliff. Mayer just in Vegas is Vegas.
Yeah.
But in my mind, when we did the draft, I thought because we had, Knox, who was supposed to be the athlete, I'm like, why don't we get that traditional tight end that can do work? I mean, now, Dalton Kincaid was there, and that was my guy. I'm pretty sure I told you guys I was excited about that, and I wanted him in a couple mock drafts I did, where I actually got him and Osiris. Then after that, I didn't get nobody else in my mocks after that. But my first 2 were right. But we got Stefon Diggs, who we talked about, 30 years old. We went through, or we don't have Gabe Davis because he's not here anymore. Deontay Hardy.
I think there's only one guy in free agency that the Bills need to sign and just be done with the whole conversation.
Who's that?
It's Curtis Samuel.
You like Kurt?
Curtis Samuel all day long. Not only has he played under Brady in Carolina, but he fits the air raid offense. He's a guy that can run all the routes. He's 27 years old. He ran a 4.31. And what more do I need to say at that point? Like, he's not a small guy. I think he's like 5'10", 5'11", right? And check this out. His separation rate is 1.92. For those of you that don't know what a separation rate is, I'll explain it. It is a receiver's average yards of separation from his assigned defender at the moment the pass arrives. So at the moment that the pass arrives to Curtis Samuel, he's almost 2 yards away from his receiver every time.
What is Peoples-Jones?
Peoples-Jones separation rate?
Yeah, because I did look him up. He's 6'2", ran a 4.47, 10-inch hands.
Well, the knock on him is his injury, right? He's only had one season where he started 14 games.
That's what Jones you're talking about?
Yeah. So he's his first year he started 2 games. Second year started 9. Third year was 2022. He started 14. He had 61 catches for 839 yards and 3 touchdowns with the Browns. Then the following season, He started 6 games, then 5, and then 1 with Detroit.
So that would explain why his ask is so low. His market value is only 2.7.
Correct. His injury history has killed him.
My thing with Curtis Samuel, I know you said he's not small, but he's short to me, man.
5'10".
I
didn't even say it. Give me credit. I ain't called nobody short this whole time. I'm about to though.
I mean, because dude, we got little dudes.
But Tyreek Hill is how tall?
But he's a one of a kind. Like there's not gonna be.
Okay.
He's a one of a kind because you can't name me another wide receiver like him.
Yeah. Tyreek Hill, I don't think I can.
So Steve Smith doesn't ring a bell?
He was a different type of wide receiver.
Deshaun Jackson doesn't ring a bell?
Different type of wide receiver.
Yeah. Tyreek Hill, yeah.
Tyreek Hill can run.
I'm not saying he's the big greatest of all time, but he's in his own.
Deshaun Jackson was 5'10", first off.
Right.
Deshaun Jackson was 5'10", right? Steve Smith was 5'9".
Mm-hmm.
Granted, those guys are different receivers. My only point is they're short guys.
Right.
Little.
So my thing was this.
I'm qualifying that.
They had taller receivers on their team, though. Like, our biggest receiver is who right now?
Stefon Diggs. No, Justin Shorter.
Justin Shorter.
Yeah.
If he even get on the field.
He don't even count.
So, like, I'm not saying he's not good, but I don't want a short wide receiver staff, man.
You don't want the little short squad guys?
Nah. Think about it. Like, we got Josh Allen, right? How does he miss wide receivers?
No.
Right?
No, I know. I get it.
A taller wide receiver will be better. Like I said, I'm not saying that Curtis Samuel is doo-doo or he whack,
I didn't know
but
he was only 5'10". I thought
if he was taller, I would take him in a minute. That's why one of the reasons why I wanted Darnell Mooney.
No, what I did with Samuels is just this. I was like, ooh, Curtis Samuels. Ooh, I said, yay. And I clicked on it. I said, 11.5. Nope, close out. That's what I did. I swear, because I know you said you like Curtis Samuel. I'm like, let me check this dude out.
If you sign Curtis Samuel as your number 2 receiver, then the only thing that you have to worry about going into this season is if you sign Curtis Samuel, you can afford to draft your up and coming receivers in the third to 5th round. But if you don't sign a guy like Curtis Samuel or Darnell Mooney, because I like both, right? If you don't sign either one of those guys, then you've got to draft a receiver in the 1st round, hands down. And the only reason I'm saying Mooney or Samuel is they fit the air raid system. And they've been number 2 receivers before, right? So they fit the bill when it comes to exactly what you need on this Bills team. They have speed, they have route running ability, and just so you know, Donovan Peoples-Jones' target separation is 1.48.
And yours is 1.8?
1.92.
1.92.
1.92. Darnell Mooney's.
And while you're looking at it, Lindsay said Ayuk or Higgins. She said, but I know the money is the issue. She go Michael Pittman.
I think he was on my list too, but I think we can't afford him either. Pittman. So like the three that I would love to have in a heartbeat, Ayuk, Higgins, and Pittman. Heartbeat.
Yeah, she said Josh Reynolds for the money.
Not even a second thought, but
I mean, they're going to command. I mean, that's the thing.
Some top dollar.
Right. That's the thing. When we're talking about this stuff, I'm not arguing the talent. I'm arguing the money because of this. You know. If we had the money, I'd be like, sign me up for that.
Dude, listen, right now, in the NFL right now, I'll take Brandon Ayuk over any second wide receiver right now in the NFL.
I won't take him in DraftKings.
1 yard.
1 yard. All I need.
Keyshawn is always good for finding a way to wiggle out of stuff.
I would take Ayuk number 1 as the number 1. Matter of fact, I don't call him a number 2. He's like a 1A or 1B.
Yeah.
Like, he's that dude, man.
Darnell Mooney's separation rate is 1.45. So
Peoples was better. He was in between them?
Peoples-Jones, dang it.
I'm sorry, I forget that quick.
Yeah, so Donovan Peoples-Jones is actually better than
Mooney.
Yeah,
in separation. He's just going to tear his ankle off the bone when he hits the separation button.
Right.
He's the people's receiver.
The people's receiver.
He plays for the people's.
No, but yeah, I think either one of those guys, honestly, fit the bill and allow the Bills to do what they normally and naturally do in the draft, which is to try and get their receivers later on, right?
Yeah. I think that's why I went with people because honestly I didn't know a whole bunch about him, but I knew with that money it doesn't force you to start him over a projected first round draft pick if you took a wide receiver or your guy Brian Thomas Jr. or something like that.
Right.
I don't want a situation where we paid this dude this in a situation where we don't have the money. Now he has to play over him. I don't want that.
See,
Lindsay, I need to know where you get 2.1 from.
Dude, I want both.
She's saying T. Higgins value at 2.1 at age 25. So if you go to where
she's doing some
man,
restructuring. If that's the case, bingo, bring them on in.
Exactly, 100%. If you go to Spotrac, Spotrac.com, and you go to their market value, T. Higgins' market value, which is
like
what he's projected to make, is 18.6 right now. So they're saying his value garners 4 years, $74 million right now. He's going to ask for much more than that. He's probably going to try to get somewhere between 80 to 85 if he can swing it. And guess what?
23.
I
at least 23 per.
Right. That's the other thing too. It was that earlier in the season. Right. It's gone down.
Right.
But I think a part of that was the incorporation of he was hurt most of the season. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that does take his value down a little bit. Excuse me, but if you look at his production when Chase didn't play all of last year, he was the number one on that team, right? And I'm talking about 2022. He was legit. Mm-hmm. So I think somebody's going to give him right around that, like you said, the 20 to 23 per range.
So put it in perspective this way: would you say he's better or at par with Christian Kirk?
Who's that?
T. Higgins.
Oh, I think with Kirk, he's better.
Last year, Kirk got 4 years, $84 million.
That's what I'm saying. He said like $18 million a season.
And he's better than Christian Kirk, way better.
Yeah.
So if Christian Kirk got 4 for 84,
nobody understands how he got that either. Nobody knows.
People are saying that they screwed up the wide receiver market by giving him that much.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I'm a free agent wide receiver, and I'm like, hold up. He got 4 for 84? Nah.
But what you got to do though at this point is you got to reset the market by offering more guaranteed money and lesser value on your contract.
Right.
That's the only way you can fix this.
Yeah.
Because they got. I didn't notice they have things called not likely to achieve incentives in contracts.
What?
Yeah,
not
I'm like
likely to what?
Yeah, not likely to achieve. So you can assign these. I'm like.
Oh,
what?
Lindsay, you're looking at his current contract. I see what you're saying. Yeah, so under market value, it's saying his current contract is 2.1. That's where she got that from. His average salary, but that's
when he resigns next year, you're gonna see that. You're gonna see another number before that decimal place.
If you go right to the left and look at his average salary under his market value, that's what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's. For me, those are the only two guys that I think give, and maybe to a lesser degree, I'm going to be honest, I would not be mad if the Bills signed Marquise Brown. I just would not. I would not be mad if the Bills signed Marquise Brown.
Hold on. Is Gabe Davis better than Marquise Brown?
I hate you for asking that question.
He's had Gabe Davis has had more production by far, but
I mean he does have the speed. He got that.
That's what I'm saying.
But he's been running cardio, man. Ain't nobody throwing him the ball. Well, maybe Josh might.
That's what I'm saying.
Josh can't overthrow Marquise Brown.
Yeah, I don't think he can overthrow him.
Josh can overthrow Marquise Brown.
Okay,
you don't make me a Josh Homer.
I would like to
Why
find
are you making
out,
me a
sir?
Josh Homer today?
I would like to find out, sir.
I
That's all I'm saying.
I want to see. Who was it? Was it him and EJ? Wait, was it him or was it TJ Graham that they said, just overthrow me, just throw it as far as you can, I'm gonna go get it?
Marquise Goodwin.
Yeah, Marquise Goodwin.
Was it Goodwin?
Because quiet as kept. Goodwin was supposed to be the fastest wide receiver in the NFL,
I know.
even when Tyreek came in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He'll still say, I'm faster.
He may have been, but
yeah. But that's the difference. So he got the speed, but he don't have anything else.
He's a track star.
Right? Tyreek got everything else, and he's that fast.
He's somebody called Ronaldo Nehemiah. That's who he is. Olympic track star that wanted to try football.
Yeah. Marquise Brown's average salary, just so y'all know, is 14.8, but there's no way he's getting that. There's no way.
Marquise Brown should be on there, man.
With his injury history and him playing on two separate teams. So his comps are. These are his comps. Terry McLaurin. I don't know why he's being compared to Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin is a much better receiver, but for some reason, actually, here's why. So they're looking at receiving targets, 8.54 a game for Marquise Brown, 8.25 for Terry McLaurin. Receptions per game, Terry McLaurin is 5.13. Marquise Brown is 4.92. Receiving yards per game, Terry McLaurin 67.84 to Marquise Brown's 53.46. Receiving touchdowns per game, Marquise Brown wins that one with 0.29 to Terry McLaurin's 0.28. Yards after catch, Terry McLaurin is 5.1. Marquise Brown is lower at 3.5. Drops per game, Terry McLaurin is at 0.16. Marquise Brown is at 0.17. I mean, according to this,
they're close.
He's Jacoby Myers. He's Hunter Renfrow. He's Terry McLaurin.
So what does this tell me?
It keeps shutting off.
What does this tell me? I don't want Terry McLaurin or.
See, I actually like Scary Terry, but he's in a bad predicament, dude.
Scary Terry. You gotta say everybody's nickname.
Oh yeah,
I know. I appreciate
wide receiver university, man. I love wide receivers, man. But yeah, Scary. He's better than what his numbers project, but it's just because he's in Washington.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, matter of fact, put him on Dallas. He up there with CeeDee Lamb.
Put him on Buffalo. He's up there with CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
I ain't putting nobody on Dallas.
I mean, if Terry McLaurin was in Buffalo, I think he would be better than Steph Diggs. I know that's saying a lot, but
stats, or you just think he'd be a better receiver?
I think production wise, he would be better because he's a much faster receiver than Steph Diggs is, and he's got a similar ability to get separation against man coverage. Like he's almost a complete package as a receiver.
I hate to say it. Let's just say, just for argument's sake, that we somehow let go of Diggs. I think Terry McLaurin would be the replica, the closest replica right now to Stefon Diggs.
But is he a slot receiver?
He does both, so he does outside and inside. What? So to me, he'll be like that's the closest replica of Stefon Diggs, is Terry McLaurin.
I mean, I don't have a lot to stand on right now because Diggs had a bad year.
I know, because you don't really pay attention to other receivers outside of Buffalo.
I knew Terry McLaurin. I don't like Ohio State. That's one thing. I don't like Ohio State players. Yeah. So, I know about Marvin Harrison Jr. Blah blah blah. I just don't like the Big Ten. Yeah. So if you're at Michigan, if you're at Penn State, if you're at Ohio State, I'm probably not going to watch you. I just can't do it. But I mean, I know a lot about Terry McLaurin, and he was there with I forget the guy's name that's in the league now too. But I mean, they were fun to watch, but they're just young. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, at one time, Steph Diggs had his day, and now, like I said, should be ready to settle into that number 2 receiver role. And it's the onus is on the Bills and Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott to force his hand on that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If it's worth anything to you, Marquise Brown's target separation is only second to Curtis Samuel at 1.6.
It better be second. This man is little munchkin, only does one thing.
No, he doesn't just do one thing. You know what?
He does that.
You're just a hater.
He does that.
He's just a hater.
What else does he do?
He's just a hater.
What else does he do? He does
thank
that.
you, Lindsay. Thank you, Lindsay. Lindsay was thinking Hollywood Brown too. You ain't got to apologize to nobody. Don't even worry about what Keyshawn was gonna say. Don't feel bad for what you think.
Look what I said after that.
Huh?
Look what I said after that.
You hurt. I know you're hurting inside. I know.
I am. But
deeply.
She said, "Freak dollars. If you ask my son, he can teach you how to say freak in a more colorful way without actually saying the word." Okay,
you telling on yourself. I hope you know that.
I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't me. What?
All them days you be watching tape, man. F Dallas, man.
He was like, "Dad, you gonna curse now?" Nah. I'm not.
Oh Oh man!
So
All right.
we got rid of Trent Sherfield. We got rid of Gabe Davis. I think Darnell Savage is somehow still on the team in the futures contract with KJ Hamler, Deontay Hardy. We got to figure that one out because I feel like that's a double-edged sword. If you want to keep him, you better learn how to use him because he showed that he can be used. But if you don't know how to use him, let him go.
What about the receivers in the draft?
I was going to go there next. I was going to finish up who he has.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we got Shorter, who better get in the lab with Eric Moles quick. Because Khalil Shakir is actually, Khalil Shakir is going to be the number one receiver, I believe. And this is my fantasy tidbit. If you don't have him, get him because I plan on it. If he's not on the team,
oh yeah,
Khalil Shakir is a gem that's going to be on. He's going to pay in dividends to you.
Oh yeah.
So in the draft, what are we looking at? Look at Mel. What do we look at? Are you looking at my Air Coryell? Are you looking at?
This is all y'all.
Listen, I'm looking at. So, this is what I look at when I look at wide receivers.
I don't have the 40 times written down. I'm sorry.
Yes, I see. What position they did in high school, in college, or what they did here. But I'm looking at overall what they can do on the field. What do they look like? Do they pass the eye test? And what can they bring to the league? So, I don't see the Bills trading up.
How far?
I don't see it. I don't see it trade. I mean, maybe a couple, maybe two or three,
like
just to get
they've done it last
right.
time.
But I don't see them going up to like the top three.
No.
Harrison Neighbors or Rome Adunze.
I didn't look at any of those.
You didn't look at none
I
of
didn't
them
even
guys.
bother.
Now,
I didn't even bother.
Now, my question will be this. So, out of these guys that we got right here, so I'm partial to Brian Thomas Jr. and Troy Franklin.
Why?
If we can somehow get them, because
because I know why. I just want to say why.
So Brian Thomas came from LSU University. Mm-hmm. He's 6'4". Mm-hmm. So this is a projected 40 time.
Yeah.
4'4".
4.48, I think is. Yeah.
4.47, 4.48.
Yeah.
Right. 6'4", 205. Mm-hmm. Came from LSU. I would love to have him. Franklin, 6'3", 4.35, 187. Mm-hmm. But he's the downfield burner. He has all around elite speed, and to me, he's the do everything wide receiver, right? If we can get those two, I will be extremely happy. Now, this is where it gets kind of scary for me. If we can't land those two guys, what do you want next? So based off the list I'm looking at, they got Franklin rated 6. So let me do it this way. They got Marvin Harrison 1, Neighbors, Adunze, Keon Coleman, mm-hmm. Brian Thomas, Franklin.
I pray Keon Coleman goes up that high. I pray.
Yeah?
I pray he goes that high. I want no part of Keon Coleman.
No, you don't want nothing of him?
I want no part of Keon Coleman.
6'4",
Keon Coleman
215?
reminds me of Kelvin Benjamin.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't really have a route. His routes aren't sharp. He's slow with the foot. He's big bodied. He goes up and outmans you mm-hmm. because he's of his size, his hands. He's got a lot of one-handed catch, a lot of stuff like that. But at the same time, when you look at his clips, he's not breaking tackles like you expect him to. Mm-hmm. He's not making anybody miss. He's almost a glorified tight end at this point. So,
okay.
So for him, and he's only a 1-year player at Florida State. He came from Michigan State where he played 2 years. He was somewhat okay, but if they fall in love with him, I promise you, if they fall in love with him, we're gonna get Brian Thomas or Troy Franklin.
Really?
I didn't really care for Franklin in the sense that his body type tells you he ain't breaking no tackles. He's got no rack. And you know me, I'm a sucker for rack yardage.
Right.
If you want the guy that's gonna go deep, and you promise me we're gonna get one of these other guys later on, Franklin it up. I'm good with that. Brian Thomas, he plays with a certain level of that. He's got a swagger to him. He plays like there isn't a play he can't make because he believes in himself. And I believe if there was no Malik Neighbors, he would be a number one receiver at LSU.
Yeah. You think he got that George Pickens mentality?
He's got that mentality to him. Yeah. He does have that mentality to him. And I think he needs to sharpen his routes up a bit. But that comes with the league. That comes with a lot of things that the young guys come into the league with. They use their body, they use their athleticism, and they don't hone their craft. But watching the Stefon Diggs, watching the Khalil Shakir, maybe getting Eric Moles in the fold if you want that, will pay dividends for you.
So out of the 6, though, all right. So let's say so this is my.
I had like 11 here, dude.
So this is my worst case scenario. To me, those are the top 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we fall out of there, we're looking at Lad McConkey.
I don't want
Adonai Mitchell, both Xaviers.
Xavier Worthy is my favorite wide receiver in this draft.
Worthy?
Xavier Worthy is my favorite wide receiver in this draft.
He's the smallest.
Go watch his tape. Go watch his tape and tell me how you feel about it.
I tell you what, they do have him rated higher.
I was big on Tank Dell last year.
I was.
They do have him rated higher than Xavier Legette.
Oh yeah, Legette is fool's gold too.
Is he?
Legette, yeah. He at 6'1", 230. He runs a 4. He's probably gonna run a 4.35.
Legette?
Yeah.
They got him projected at 4.29.
No, that's foolish. He ran like a 4.33 at some point.
In college, he was a 4.45 guy, right?
He ran a 4.3. Yeah.
So if you look at his comments, it says he has in the same measurables,
and he's 6'3",
his low 4.3 speed in the 40-yard dash with his size combination alone is kind of like they're looking at kind of like DK.
You thought he was 6'3" because they had him at 6'3" until they measured him at the Senior Bowl.
So he's 6'1", 223.
Yeah. But the thing I don't like about that is you see the size, you think, oh, he ain't breaking tackles. He's a finesse player.
Okay.
He's finesse.
Yeah, so he's not strong. So he's not like DK who has speed and strength.
If you want somebody that's going to run people over, look at Malachi Corley out of Western Kentucky. This dude, he seeks it out. He's 5'10", like 205. He seeks pain. He looks for somebody to hit and run through. They call him, what was his name? I forget. Was it Mr. Yak or something like that? Because of yards after catch.
Yeah.
He was, So, I mean, he's known for this. Like at the Senior Bowl, in one of the plays, he actually ran through the cornerback, threw him down, and turned around and cut the ball.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what it was. And to go back, I just remind me, go back to your point about Legette. Legette is handsy at the end, at the catch point. On deep passes, if you watch his highlights, if you watch his games, you'll see him shove off to the cornerback almost every time.
So if we fall out of that top 6, Worthy will be your next guy?
If I'm telling you, if Xavier Worthy is there, which I think Xavier Worthy might slip up past us.
Really?
Yeah, I think he might be the guy because if you watch him, he's 6'1". He's what is he? 183 or something?
172.
172. But if you watch him play, he's a yak guy. He's wiggles. He's slippery. He's stutter. He's not. He's sudden. He's real sudden. I mean, the guy is. I mean, he'll go deep. He catches with his hands.
So the comment on him is, he could be the fastest wide receiver in the draft.
Could be Xavier Worthy. Yeah, and I mean, and even if he doesn't run if his 40 time isn't the fastest, I bet you one of his shuttles will be.
Yeah, but is a good 40 time going to get him first round consideration?
No, his body of work will though.
I think it
his
will.
Body of work.
Because I haven't seen his tape, but I gotta watch the tape. He may be like, I'm not saying he's like Tyreek Hill, but have the speed, but has the all-around wide receiver attributes as well. And that would definitely get him in the first round. But after that, Key, you got slim pickings, dude. Like, you got McConkey, you got Devontae Walker, and Jermaine Burton.
Nope. See, where I am, this is what I had. Okay, so I had a first-round grade on Brian Thomas Jr. I had a first or second-round grade on Troy Franklin. He might slide.
Really?
I think he might slide. Xavier Worthy is Xavier Legette is a second rounder. Mm-hmm. Worthy right now is a second rounder. Jalen Polk out of Washington. If you watch Roma Dunze, you will notice Jalen Polk. This is the guy that your guy likes. Your guy Steve Smith,
age 89,
he loves Jalen Polk,
okay.
And I do too. What I didn't like about Polk, he didn't have wiggle. He wasn't sudden, but he made it work. He has he got strong hands. He high points the ball, and he gets behind the coverage if you let him.
Kind of like, who would you think he model after? Like, is it like a what's the kid from Seattle? Not Metcalf, Lockett.
Are you looking at?
Let me look at his tape. I'll tell you.
Are you looking at what is this? NFL Draft Buzz.
I'm on. Yes.
Okay. They usually give you. They say I don't like the people they compare because they get lazy and repeat it. But they said George Pickens.
Really?
George Pickens, Romeo Dobbs, and Jonathan Mingo, which I'm not sure who that is, but we know Romeo Dobbs and we know George Pickens.
Jonathan Mingo's out of Carolina.
There you go. See, I don't know if he's good or what, but
yeah, he's all right.
But I think Jalen Polk definitely with some kind of honing, because if you watch his tape, you're not going to come away super intrigued as I was when I really fell in love with, because I didn't have before today. I didn't have Xavier Worthy on my board.
Wow.
But when I watched, I was like, oh snap! Let me just take a look. And I looked at it, and I actually have a Texas game on my DVR, so I watched that.
Yeah.
And this guy, I mean,
yeah, okay.
This dude, yeah. So if I can get that, I'm good.
So now, what if we don't fall? So like you say, you have first round grades and second round grades. So if we fall out of the 1 grade, what position would you be okay with taking in the first round? If it's not a wide receiver,
it depends on who it is. Aaron Scott, he can't be here for this conversation. No, because he flamed me because I took.
I will flame you again.
I took a cornerback. Because that's what was there. And mind you, once again, when I do mock drafts, I don't do mock drafts, with trades for the very reason that who's going to tell me no? If I propose giving you all next year's draft, it's going to tell you, yeah, good, but it's not realistic.
Right.
So I don't really want to play around with the ifs ands if I'm not talking to the other GMs in real time and seeing what they want, what they need, blah blah blah. So I stay putting all rounds. But what I like to do is there was a tackle out of Washington I could get my hands on.
Left tackle or right tackle?
Huh?
Left tackle or right tackle?
I think he's a left. I want to say he's a left.
Deion Dawkins better watch out.
Well, Deion Dawkins is getting long in the tooth too. But yeah, I think and I really like Rakestraw, the cornerback out of Mizzou. He's just a nasty guy. But I did a mock today where what is the guy's name out of Iowa? He's Mr. Everything.
What position?
Corner. I think he's a number. He should be one of the top corners.
You think they would have McDermott's head, or rather say Bean's head, if they get a cornerback in the first round?
No.
No.
I don't believe so. That would just give him license to move Benford back if they wanted to, or put him at corner.
So if they take this guy, we're basically gonna have him and what's his name on the other? What's the guy we just picked up?
Who?
Cornerback. Oh, KJ Hamler.
No, cornerback who played for.
Corner.
You talking about Rasul Douglas?
Douglas, yeah. So we have Douglas in the rookie, probably 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean is.
I've seen him. That kid is
nasty.
Good. He is good.
I don't know how he made it to the Bills at 28 on my thing. I have no idea. I was like,
hey,
what school did he play with?
Iowa.
You would like him,
why.
bro.
That's why.
You would definitely like him.
No,
like him?
No,
What's
he's supposed to be long gone before
DeJean.
I pick. He's the number 1 ranked corner. Corner.
Now you know what? Let's just say the wide receivers fell, and they had to grab him. Now that I say that, I don't think people will be mad because that dude is legit.
If he's sitting there at 28,
he's legit.
I'm not reaching on any wides. If he's sitting at 28,
you taking him?
I'm taking him.
What?
Even though we need offense,
if he's sitting at 28, I'm taking him because that's assuming Brian Thomas is going. Assuming Troy Franklin is going.
Right.
I'm not taking. You're trying to get flame live.
I'm not taking Coleman.
What you trying to do?
You're not taking Coleman?
No.
Yeah, okay.
So if Worthy's there,
yeah,
Worthy. If Franklin's there,
yeah.
Franklin. If Thomas is there,
yeah.
But I'm not. What I'm saying is I'm not going for Leggett.
Okay.
He does nothing for me.
Okay.
I'm not going for Polk so far.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. If this guy who's supposed to be in the top 10, this cornerback, a top 10 cornerback is at 28.
Yeah.
Please.
He is like the guy. Like he's like the sauce.
I understand. But if Keyshawn
he's not here
ever
because he doesn't
again on
care
this show
about anything but WR. I want to wait till you see his mock.
Yo,
It's gonna be FFL. I don't care.
I don't care.
I got everybody I need right here.
I don't care.
I promise you, if the Bills do that, like again, I'm standing all 10 down on my theory of the Bills need a dominant side of the ball, and right now this year it has to be the offense because they don't have anybody on defense.
Yeah.
If that's the case, You have to solidify that first before you even begin thinking about any
You
other
already did.
position.
You got Curtis Samuel. And then you get Malachi
Are you
Corley.
allowing me to sign Curtis Samuel?
Hey, knock yourself out.
So would you be mad then if you signed Curtis? See,
No.
I'm
then-
greedy, especially at this position.
But then we get
I'm
Malachi
greedy, bro.
Corley, though?
Huh?
Then we get Malachi Corley?
Can he play day one?
Malachi Corley's going to run somebody over as soon as he gets on the field.
No. I heard you say that, and I'm like, yeah, but in the NFL, that's different, though.
Malachi Corley, you said Agent 89, right?
Yo.
Malachi Corley.
I get it.
Yo, he don't miss. He don't miss.
And he said he reminded me of my
Him?
play style.
Steve Smith's a beast.
Yeah, but
What round can we get that dude?
What,
Second?
Malachi?
Second?
Third.
We get him in the third?
Yeah.
okay, I would take him in the third.
And we can put him on the field immediately.
Yeah. Well, if you want, how are you going to do it?
As a
You
number
gonna take-
two?
Well, we got
Well,
Curtis
we got
Samuel. No?
Could we do Diggs, him, Shakir, and then like those when we want to switch out people? Can he come in and just
Yeah, I can see him playing. I can see him playing day one.
okay?
I can see him playing day one.
Wait, I can't wait to go home and do this mock draft now. I can't.
I can't wait. No,
I cannot
yo,
wait.
you should do it on StreamYard so I can look at you,
Oh
look at your
my
angst. do a video chat. Yo,
Yeah.
you're gonna be so pissed off
No.
because you go like, yo, it's gonna be like 28. Are you going if you trade to 23? Where my wide receivers at? They gone. I was like, yo, no, because when I do it, I'm like, I'm gonna take a wide out. I said, when I'm long, but I'm like, how?
There's only so I created a list of teams realistically that need a wide receiver.
That's good because I'm trying to look at how many are they going to probably take White out before us.
Right. So the only teams that I can look at their roster and say they need a wide receiver, Arizona.
Okay.
They don't have a number one. Marquise Brown is out.
Right.
Right. The Giants, they don't have a receiver.
Okay.
Hopkins is probably not going to re-sign in Tennessee.
Okay.
Chicago, they can either take one at number one overall to put with
Rumor has
Justin
it.
Fields.
Rumor has it they might take a quarterback.
Right. I think they will do that.
Chicago.
Who?
Chicago.
Yeah.
They got two. They got two first though. They're gonna
Yeah,
take a quarterback and a wide receiver.
First.
They got the
Yeah.
first overall and they got the 9th overall.
They're gonna take a wide receiver and quarterback.
So realistically, they could trade Fields, get another number one, still take a quarterback number one, and still have 2 first-round picks after that.
Dang.
Right? So Chicago is in the best possible place to be, right? So if they don't take one at number one overall, they're going to take one at number 9.
Okay.
Right? And then Jacksonville is the only other team, right? Because if I'm going through the list here, Chicago first overall, right? Washington is at number 2. They got Terry McLaurin, right? New England, they getting a quarterback. Period. They're getting a quarterback.
And they
period.
they miss on every wide receiver they pick anyway.
Exactly.
I saw a Doomsday going there.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well. Now that Bill Belichick is out, because he's the one who was there. I'm not crediting him, but since he's been there, he's never hit on a wide receiver out of the draft.
So you think they keep Mac Jones and go with a Doomsday, and then just draft a quarterback later on?
I don't know what they're gonna do at quarterback. They got money, so they could go ahead and try to get Justin Fields or something like that.
That's true too.
Yo, Justin Fields is not bad though. I
He's
don't know
not.
why. Why
No.
did Chicago was
Because
thinking about
Eberflus is an idiot. That's why.
Yeah, that's exactly
like,
right.
Eberflus-
dude, he can ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Fields has never had he's had Darnell Mooney's been his best receiver since he's been there, and then the year that he actually gets a real number one receiver in
I had him in fantasy.
Who, Fields?
DJ Moore.
Yeah, DJ Moore.
Oh.
The second he gets DJ Moore, he turns into a viable quarterback, and they start winning games.
I
At the
had
end of the
Fields
season.
last year.
Dude, he made it look easy too.
Yeah.
Him and DJ Moore. Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's all it takes.
right.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all it
You
takes.
give a quarterback an elite wide receiver. Watch what he do.
Yep.
Josh Allen's case in point.
So after
Imagine if we had 2.
100%. That's the key right there. Imagine if we had 2. We'd be the Bengals.
All right, so we have what's that? 5? That's 5 teams.
So we're at Arizona fourth overall. They need a receiver, right? Then you got the Chargers after them. They don't need a receiver. They don't.
No.
They still got Mike Williams,
And they picked
got
up the kid from what's his name? Quentin
Quentin
Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah,
Yep.
they got Quentin Johnson.
So they got him. Giants, they need a receiver.
Yep.
Period. Tennessee, they need a receiver. Period. Hopkins, even if he does resign there, he's at best a 1B now.
How many is that?
Tennessee is 7th overall.
Dang.
Then you get to Atlanta. Atlanta still got Drake London. They still got Kyle Pitts. Part of the reason that Arthur Smith was fired was lack of use with Kyle Pitts.
Yeah,
They have 2 young pass-catching receiving targets that they just need to find use for. They technically don't need a receiver right now. Right?
Well, they need a quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. Their focus is more like all the teams that I said don't really need a receiver. New England, they need a quarterback. Washington, they need a quarterback. And then Atlanta, they need a quarterback.
You're not going to draft one, though.
Atlanta?
No. Where's Atlanta?
Actually, Atlanta might be able to get away with signing Kirk Cousins.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're where are they drafted? You said they're 9th?
Atlanta's 8th overall.
8th? Yeah, because you're talking about May is going. Jalen's probably going too. So your top 3 are already going.
That would suck for us though.
Why?
Because that means 1, 2, 3. Maybe we get. Well, keep going. Is there more?
Yeah, there's a lot more. So after Atlanta, you got Chicago. So if they don't take a receiver first overall and they take a quarterback, they're gonna take one at 9, right? Jets, they got their number 1 receiver already. They're set. Minnesota, they got their guy. What you call
Addison.
Jefferson said as long as the Vikings re-sign Kirk Cousins, he's fine re-signing and staying there. If they don't get Kirk Cousins, he's not gonna re-sign. That's what he said. Yep. Denver, they still have Jerry Jeudy.
They need a
and they have
they need a quarterback.
Yeah, they right.
They got
They
Russ.
Well, that's where Russ is going.
Let Russ
said
cook.
Russ is going to Atlanta.
Let Russ cook.
Oh yeah, I could see Russ in Atlanta.
Russ
They're not gonna keep him in Denver.
No, they
done.
they hate him.
Yeah,
They
he's
hate
done.
him. They about to cut him. They about to cut him. Vegas, they got their quarterback in Aiden O'Connell, but they still have Devontae Adams at the same time. They don't need a wide receiver.
Who's they second right now though?
It was Hunter Renfrow, but
They might.
I can see him taking one.
They might get one. Dang.
yeah, but it's not a huge need though
What are you gonna do
for the
with the
team. Is
quarterback?
what I'm saying. Right? They still got.
They need a quarterback too.
They need a running back.
Which got gone?
No, he's still there.
Jacobs is
He didn't resign?
did he?
I thought he did.
Hold on.
If he didn't, they is gonna need a running back because that'll put him with just Zaire White.
Or they could franchise tag him, I believe.
Yeah, they get him with the tag.
Nope, he didn't resign. You're right, but they can franchise him.
They could tag him.
They're not gonna tag a running back. They're not gonna tag a running back. I'm
They
sorry.
could. It's the Raiders. It is the Raiders.
You're
The
right.
Raiders
You're right.
are
They
the
might be
team
dumb
that will
enough
do
to
some
do it.
nonsense like that.
Yep. All right. So Vegas, they need a running back. They also need offensive linemen. They need what else? They need a safety. They need a defensive tackle. So they've got other needs that are more pressing than wide receiver, especially when you have Devontae Adams already. They're not. What I'm saying is they're not going to spend a first round pick when you already have Devontae Adams. You're just not going to do that, right? New Orleans, they already got their number 1 pick 2 years ago in the young boy, or was it 2 years ago or last
They
year?
got Njigba.
Huh?
They got Njigba.
They got in. Right, they got Njigba. No, and Njigba went
Saints?
to Seattle.
Yeah, he went
Oh,
to
he's in
Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah,
Oh,
Njigba
my
went to
bad.
Seattle.
No, then they got
Saints got Shaheed.
who?
Yep,
Shaheed.
Shahid, and
Oh,
who's
no,
the other guy? That
Matter of fact, he went to the Pro Bowl.
Number 11
Hold on.
starts with a O, I think.
Oh,
He's nice. Chris Olave.
Olave.
Yeah, Chris
That's
Olave.
right.
Right.
teammate.
Yep. So that's their number 1 guy, and they still got the old head there,
Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas. They still got Michael Thomas there.
And Jimmy Graham.
Right, and Jimmy.
He's still in the league.
Yeah, yeah, he played last year.
I mean, he's not as deadly as he was. but
I'm
still
surprised
out
he's
there.
still in the league.
Right. So they don't need a receiver. Indy, I'm of the understanding and the assumption that they are going to re-sign Michael Pittman. I don't think I don't think they let that guy go. They have one other viable receiver that is more of a like slot quasi number 2, huh?
Paris Campbell.
No, Paris Campbell actually was with the Giants last year.
He left. What?
Yeah.
Where you been? No,
No.
I finally knew something. Wow.
Who's their number 2 in
That's why I said they can draft one.
Hold on.
Yeah, I don't even know, bro.
And that's where Worthy could go. I could see Worthy going there because if they re-sign Pittman, they're gonna need somebody with some wiggle and some speed.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
But if they lose Pittman, and they definitely probably gonna get a wide receiver to pair with their quarterback.
Yeah.
Like he gonna need weapons.
So the wide receivers later. Let me see. Josh Downs. That's Josh Downs. Yeah, that was their number 2 guy last year. But again, he was more of a quasi slot guy with the routes that he ran. So I think they have the cap space and the way that they used Pittman, especially while when Anthony Richardson was playing, Pittman blew up. I had Pittman on my fantasy team. He blew up nicely.
They got $66 million cap space.
Yeah, so they
got dough.
They could easily resign him, bring him back. So I don't think they're gonna go looking for a receiver in the first round, especially not when you got Josh Downs there too on top of that. Seattle just drafted in Jigba, still got DK, still got I'm sorry, they don't have Tyler Lockett, but I think in Jigba takes up that slot spot, decreases the need for a first round number 2 pick, especially when DK is going to be the focus in that passing game. And they got a viable tight end in Noah Fant. So that brings us to Jacksonville, who I think is going to move to try and re-sign Calvin Ridley, mostly because Calvin Ridley's market value is going to be
17.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty decent and affordable for Jacksonville.
That's all they got, 17 mil. So you're looking at eating them half of that on the one dude. We'll see.
Yeah.
They could.
Yeah. Maybe they don't, but I don't think they're spending a first round on that. They still need offensive line help. They need not linebacker help. They need corner help for sure. They for sure need safety help. Their secondary is trash. Cincy, we already know they don't need it. They're not going to spend it. They may.
They need it. Higgins
I don't know if they need it, but
isn't Boyd and Higgins going?
Huh?
Isn't Boyd and Higgins going?
Yeah, but a first rounder though.
Yeah.
When you got Chase.
Yeah. If they can, they got Burrow. Why wouldn't you? You got Burrow and you got
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could see that.
And then Rams, Puka, Cooper.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I can't see that happening. Pittsburgh, they don't need it. Miami, they don't need it. Philly, they don't need it. Dallas, they don't need it. Green Bay for sure doesn't need it. They got 5 wide receivers over there. Tampa may be looking to do that. They still got Chris Godwin. I think they ventured to bring Mike Evans back now that they have Baker there. I think they work something out with Baker for the next few years, and Mike Evans decides to stay because that's home for him. He doesn't really want to leave, and it gives him an opportunity to retire with the team that drafted him.
Pittsburgh, they don't have Deontay yet, do they? Or is he still there next year?
No, but I'm looking at George Pickens being their number 1 receiver going forward, and them having Freiermuth there as a pass catcher.
You can see what they do at quarterback, because if they hit on a quarterback,
that too,
then they might, because the problem with this draft is it's so light in the butt when it comes to quarterbacks. After you get past the guy from LSU, you're not looking at much until probably the 3rd or 4th round.
Right. So yeah, I mean, you got Arizona picking after Tampa at that point. I think Arizona takes their receiver at 4 if they're going to take one. At 27, they probably do something different, and that's the pick right before Buffalo. So
that's where Franklin usually goes at 27.
Yeah,
almost always.
Which I'm okay with, because if like you say, Franklin is not the greatest route runner, I would rather have a guy that can run more routes and make plays.
Yeah, I would give a nod to Thomas Jr. if I had to choose between the two. But people they're high on Adonai Mitchell. I'm not at all. And actually that's what drew me over to see Worthy was watching Adonai's tape and everybody wants to. He's 6'4", 196. He's a body catcher. He doesn't use his hands. He's not going to pluck it. He doesn't high point balls. He does a nice job of getting some space for his size, but that for the most part, I just can't do Adonai Mitchell, so he's not really on my board. Lab McConkey, I looked at him today. I really looked at him because I didn't want to, based on the fact that he reminded me of my preconceived notions of him was kind of like Isaiah McKenzie. I'm like, okay, he's a slot kind of gadget guy, 5'10", 185 pounds or whatever the case may be, and I'm like, he's slippery, but his slippery when he gets the ball in his hands, it doesn't translate. He looks like he's kind of clunky, like he doesn't know where to go. Mm-hmm. He doesn't find the crease and hit it authoritatively. So, you can obviously fix that with experience, especially when you're in a situation with Knox in them. Who else do I have? My boy, Javon Baker. He's going to be a late round pick out of UCF, Central Florida, 6'1", 208. I like his body control. He plays with he's another dose of swagger. He got great hands, will high point the ball and make you look stupid in the process. Good concentration, and he's comfortable in intermediate routes. When I watch him, I seem to notice that he doesn't really have open catches. That's a question of why is he not separating the way he should be. Mm-hmm. So that's something that I definitely would pay attention to. And lastly, our boy, Junior, Brendan Rice Jr. He was an honorable mention because I said, what the hell? 6'2", 212 out of USC. He started off at Colorado. He's a Rice. He's got nice hands. Duh. I mean, what else is he? If you didn't have nice hands at Rice,
is there a relation?
He's his dad.
That's his dad.
That's his son.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that's his son.
Oh, wow.
He runs like Isaiah Pacheco, and it's funny because
with as old as Rice is, it took him forever to have a kid.
I mean, hey, well, no, let's see.
He had girls.
Well,
because Julian Edelman dated her.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
It's a story on Instagram.
How old will Ken be how old is Jerry Rice? 58? 50? Mm-hmm. Is he 60? If he's 60, then Ken will be 28. So, yeah, I had my son late too. Whatever. Brendan Rice, he's got good enough speed for his size. Like I said, 6'2", 212, but he's not going to separate from a lot of people. He can high point the ball, but he doesn't play with the physicality that you would expect when looking at his body. I mean, he's built like he absorbs contact, and I would expect Malachi Corley in a 6'2", 212-pound version. So I look at Malachi Corley and find out that he's 5'10", 215, so he weighs more, but he's shorter. So I said, like Gabe Davis, Brendan Rice, his contributions are in spurts. So he'll have a big game, and then 2 games he'll get lost, and then he'll have another big game, and you're like, okay, well, be consistent. Give me something. You don't have to be all world in every game, but you got to be something. You got to give it to me. And I think that's pretty much everybody. I didn't feel like talking about Adonai because if he's a Bill, I don't know what to tell you. Keon Coleman, we talked about. Anaya Smith, okay, out of Texas A&M. He's another one of those make it happen kind of guys. 5'9", 191 pounds. You get the ball in his hands, like Worthy. He's a lower round version of what you would get from Worthy. He's a good return man. He hits the hole and hits it hard, man. I mean, at 5'9", 191 pounds, you don't expect him to high point much. But when he gets the ball in his hands, he's electric. You could use him as a return man. See Nyheim Hines if they can figure out a way to get out of that contract. What's his name? Hardy.
For Nyheim Hines?
Get out of that contract.
No, they getting their money back.
No, he's still on the team. Bean said it.
But that's that whole. I gotta look into that. Cause, hold on, let me.
Yeah, because Bean's like he's a part of the team next year. I'm like, what? I thought he hated us. Guess I was wrong.
Contract dispute.
But yeah, Nia Smith, I could see him replacing Deontay Hardy.
So they'll save some money.
Yeah, you get
like,
voided for getting injured off of yeah.
Yeah, they proposed withholding $400,000 installment due later this year, along with the $100,000 workout bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So that was probably agreed upon through arbitration. Because I know at one point the Bills was like, "Nah, you got to give it all back."
You got to give it all back. He was like, "Nope."
You gave me the check. It's gone,
fam.
bro.
He said, "I ain't bought a new chain. It's over with.
Cut me
Right,
if you want the money
please.
back. Cut me."
But yeah, so I mean, I think there's a lot of depth. There's a lot, and I really think we're going to get 2 wide receivers out of this draft, and I think they're going to be 2 serviceable wide receivers.
Yeah,
And that's why I'm not so worried about. I mean, I know it's a beautiful thing to get them in the first, but if for whatever reason the ones that we want in the first aren't there, I don't want to reach. You know, I mean, you could fall into your Leggett. You could talk me into a Leggett. You could talk me into a Worthy. You could talk me into those guys in the early second. But I just don't think the value is there at 28 to take one of those guys that early.
Okay. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Well, I mean, you know, if you watch the tape,
That's what
no, I don't. If you watch the tape and you think otherwise, I get it. But because a lot of people, like I said, with Coleman, I pray to God he goes ahead of us. I pray to God. I'm telling you, if he does, we're good. We're good in first.
In terms of what being
Getting
able
either Thomas or Franklin.
So let me see. You think Brian Thomas makes it to us?
I think Brian Thomas makes it to us.
Okay.
Unless, I mean, especially after you reading off the teams you said you didn't think would take a wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, Lindsey thinks Pittsburgh will take a wide receiver. I mean, yeah, I think they can. I just, again, for me, I think it's, does this team want to make that commitment in the first round?
That's what I'm saying. If they get a quarterback, a Fields or somebody we've seen, yeah, they get.
Nah, I can't. Even with where Mason Rudolph brought them, I still don't think they walk away from their first round guy. I think the changing of coordinators gives both of those guys another shot. I think they go into training camp with a quarterback competition, and whoever wins, that's who they rock with. And if that person falls off, they try the other guy. If that guy don't work, then I think they go into next year saying, all right, we got to get a quarterback.
Who do they have? They got Mason Rudolph and who?
Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, Kenny
Pickett.
Pickett.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I think the coordinator being changed out, because Matt Canada everybody hated him, right? And once, because Pickett was hurt, that's why he couldn't play, right? The rest of the season. Yeah. So Pickett got hurt. Rudolph had to come in. So yeah, I think they go into next season saying, you know what, Pickett, you can have a job, but Rudolph is on your tail.
I've seen their names brought up in the Justin Fields conversation. That's why I said that.
I can see that too. But again, do they have – how many picks do they have this year? Let me see. All right, so the Steelers have – they have 7 picks. And based on this here, we know they are drafting. Where's the Steelers? So they're drafting 20th overall. They're not. What quarterbacks would be available at 20?
No, they had to trade for one. That's what I'm saying. The Fields, they wouldn't draft one. There's not going to be a quarterback worth taking it in the draft.
But with only 7 picks, they would have to give up a lot. And that's not a team that likes to, like, trade up all like that. They don't typically do that, especially for a quarterback.
You know, there's no world where I have them taking a quarterback in the draft. Unless they go, I could see them trying to do a project with, like, Joe Milton or even Rattler from South Carolina. But outside of that.
Yeah, again, I think Chicago is in a position where if they really wanted to, they could trade Fields to Washington. They could trade him to Washington because that's outside of the division, or they could trade him to New England, get him out of the conference, right? Mm-hmm. I could see the Giants trying to trade up and get Fields. Atlanta's got a shot, but at 8 they would have to give up a ton. You get what I'm saying? Like I feel like the two teams that you would really have to worry about getting Fields and not having to give up that much, pick right behind Chicago. And for the Steelers to have to trade up from 20 to 1.
Hey, I ain't mad at you. I mean, just give me Thomas.
Well, no, they wouldn't have to trade up to 1. They would just have to trade for the quarterback itself, but they got to give up a first round pick, which means they give up the 20th. They probably give up for Justin Fields. They're going to give up a first round pick. So it's probably going to be 20 this year. And then they can probably get away with a second or third round pick next year. And whatever else they want to throw in there. But I think that's, draft pick wise, I think that's what they would have to give up. It will be a first this year at least. Ooh. So I'm a bit of an anarchist when it comes to the NFL, Lindsay. I like this idea of Pittsburgh going after Cousins. She saw Pittsburgh might go after Cousins.
Sure.
I would love to see something like that, only because I want to see where Justin Jefferson goes after that. Because if he don't, you know what I'm saying? If he don't get his quarterback back in Minnesota, he gone. I'm okay seeing Minnesota go back to mediocrity. I don't really need them to be great. So yeah, I would like to see that. All right. Lindsay also says she'll make her. So you got Keyshawn, you got to read some of these because you just be responding and.
I mean, I ain't gonna cut you off. That's why the flow. You know?
I cut you off.
I know you do, but you don't. No,
Lindsay says I'll make my mock draft list for Friday's episode, depending on work or next Monday's show. All right, cool. I'm definitely gonna have mine ready for Friday.
I can't wait to see yours. You know you're gonna do one. I think I sent you the link too. Hey, let's do one. Everybody, let's pop one in there. See what happens.
Yeah, it's in the joint thread.
Lindsay, no trades. That's the only thing. No trades.
What?
I forgot. You're gonna trade. Fine, you trade.
I'm probably.
Matter of fact, I want to see your trades.
10 picks.
I know you are.
I
I want to see your trades. So I want you to trade.
You just want to see if it's gonna be ridiculous.
I know it's gonna.
Like,
be. I've
move up to the first overall pick for like
will.
a first and a second rounder.
I'm like, yeah, they approved that. Mm-hmm. Like, yep. That's why I don't do these.
No, I would make it realistic. I know what it takes. You
gonna pull out the chart?
Huh?
You gonna pull out the Johnson?
I'm gonna have to.
Value chart.
I'm gonna have to. That's what they go by.
You're right.
All right. What else do we have? What are we looking at for Friday's episode? What position?
Friday we gonna breeze through
safeties.
O lineman.
We're gonna breeze through O-line.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
That's not gonna be long at all. We got a good O-line. We're not gonna go too in depth. We might even be able to hit D-line on that too. Or we could do.
No, you know what? You're right. I think D-line would be much more interesting because we got to fill out a lot of the defense.
Yeah.
I'm actually okay moving past O-line.
I want to do O-line. We don't do it right now.
Huh?
I want to do it at some point. We don't do it right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll do D-line tackles and edge.
Right. Okay. All right. It's 8:41. Y'all got a roll or yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's get y'all.
I ain't got nothing else.
Let's get y'all out and running. I don't know why that camera keep cutting on and off. It's never done that before.
No shining too bright with that Lee Evans jersey. You shining and glistening with it.
Yeah, the camera knows. The camera knows.
You can don't say.
We don't want that mess right here. No, it's fine.
You ain't got to say that.
All right. Today's the day.
No, it's not.
Lindsay says ESPN mock draft predicts the Bills at number 60 pick Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Yo.
Okay.
Jeremiah Trotter was one of my favorite linebackers too.
Well, I mean, we'll see what his son, if he lives up to the billing, but I could see.
Yeah, I mean, the pedigree is there.
Right, yeah.
You know, and like Mike Tomlin likes to say, the pedigree is
right,
there.
the pedigree's there. You see what I said about Brendan Rice.
You gotta take him, right.
Brendan Rice ain't Jerry Rice. So
okay, let me make sure.
Shake it out.
Sure I'm ready here. And
shake it out.
All right. Okay. Let's see here. I got to turn this down a little bit more. See if I can make it this time. y'all might as well start putting some bets down on whether or not I can make it. Like,
He's going over.
All right. All right, that's it. If you hear the music, that means I got 90 seconds to get through this thing. I want to thank everybody that tuned in today. Lindsay, thank you so much for all your comments. You are missed when you're not here. With that being said, Basketball Truth and Knowledge, my oldest son's podcast, okay? Basketball everything. This man is up all night long watching these games, studying tape, in the news. He might as well be Chris Broussard Jr. over here, okay? After that, I want to ask everybody who's been watching the show. Right now, we've been stuck at 94 subscribers. If we could just give one person a little nudge, a little bit of a bow to try and get us over that 100 mark, I would greatly appreciate that. Smash that like button. Throw some comments in there. It's all welcome. It's all love. We greatly appreciate everybody that tunes into the show, whether it's live or after we close everything up. But I got to get out of here. Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
Melly Mac.
And this is Key.
And I did it in your face.
You did.
We are out.
But you never say like, comment, subscribe, be that thing ring-a-ling-a-ling. Okay, now you're done.
Oh, okay. I did forget that. That cost me 10 seconds, which means I still got 8 left.
He's still talking. He's still going.
Nope, I'm out now. Peace.